Good morning, Kevin. Brian is not here yet. I started the stream early because we got a new software and I was making sure it worked. Thank you, Kevin.
A little bit? Yeah. Why do you get Mountain Dews? I went to get my Mountain Dew, and the guy said, if you buy two, you get a third. Well, I get to be a prick. Give me three. Oh, thank you, brother. You about ready for that weekend forecast or just ready for the weekend? Here is WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo. Why did I say I wanted a Mountain Dew? I don't drink Mountain Dew. I used to love Mountain Dew. So much sugar. I'm going to do what a Mountain Dew. It's rich random.
This is Mornings with Brian Haldane. I'm really quite something.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
News and newsmakers.
Coffee and contemplation.
Traffic and weather.
I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours and I still don't know why.
So I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Start your day with Baton Rouge's hub for information and opinion.
Your opinion.
Here is Brian Haldane.
606 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. Alondra producing. You just heard Taylor on traffic. Everybody's back where they belong. Everybody's neat and in order, right? Very nice. What's going on, y'all? Everybody ready for a big Friday? Big Friday show coming your way for sure. We got a lineup for you here. Oh, we got a lineup for you. All right, let's start here. Have you finished the I Just Killed My Dad show over there on the old Netflix? I wrapped it up last night. So we'll talk about it a little bit throughout the show. I don't want to give too many spoilers. I mean, obviously, we know all the details of what happens, but the behind-the-scenes stuff, the stuff that makes a documentary, those are the parts I don't want to have spoilers for. But wrapped it up last night. We'll talk about it throughout the show this morning. And in talking about it through the show, how about attorney Jarrett Ambeau, set to join us at 7:15 this morning? Jarrett Ambeau was Anthony Tompley's attorney, the lead attorney in the case. And he had a team and whatnot. But I want to talk with Jarrett about the process of what it's like trying to, try a case while you've got a documentary team, a documentary crew sitting there over your shoulder. I want to talk about his take on how they portrayed his client, how they portrayed him, how they portrayed Dana Cummings over at the district attorney's office, and whether or not what we saw on Netflix or what we're watching on Netflix or what we're going to binge tonight, whatever, whether or not what we saw was how it played out. That's not coming up until 7:15. No, we have Emily Pendergast is an actress. She's going to join us at 6:35. She is on a show called Live and Local. Excuse me. Live and Local is about a Christian radio station, and she stars alongside Dave Coulier. If you ever have seen the show Veep, what was her character in Veep, Alondra?
She was Jonah's stepsister/wife.
Stepsister/wife.
Yeah. And if you've seen Veep, Jonah's the tall one that they always make fun of.
Okay. That's where you know Emily Pendergast from. Now you're going to know her from Live and Local. She's slated to join us at 6:35. Back to the 7 o'clock hour. So we got Emily at 6:35, Jarrett Ambeau at 7:15, Jimmy Frederick from the Knock Knock Museum at 7:35. In our 8 o'clock hour, let's head down to, I guess we'd technically probably be heading to Houston this time around. I want to check in on the Saints. Saints' first preseason game is tomorrow night. Corey Rholdon from WBRZ is slated to join us at 8:15 to talk about that. And we will wrap up the show with Foodie Friday presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Rocco's going to be in the house, and I'm told we're going with Philly cheesesteaks today. Although it's Rocco, so it's more like a Chalmette cheesesteak. But it's a good time every time Rocco is in, and that'll be coming up later on today. That plus top stories and trending, the outside in, this day in history, and a whole lot more as the show wears on. Let's get back to the top of the page, though. If you're watching us on YouTube, start the comments now. Start the discussion now. What did you think? What did you think of I Just Killed My Dad? What did you think of the cast of characters? Now that I'm done with it, got to tell you some of the turns that the last episode took. It made it. It kind of changed my perception of the presentation of it altogether. But let me know. Let me know on YouTube. Told you we'll also have top stories and trending in the outside, and there's a lot going on this morning, and we will get to all of it as the show wears on. Before we hit our first break, I want to touch back on that forecast you heard from Marissa, because it is going to be active again today. We caught a lot of rain yesterday, going to catch a lot more today.
we are looking at a 70% chance of rain today. But much like yesterday, it's going to be smack dab in the middle of the day again. So, just like yesterday, if you've got errands to knock out, get them done before noon. Because 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock hours, looks like that's when it's going to be its heaviest. Should back off a little bit before we get all the way into afternoon drive. But expect showers throughout the early afternoon hours this morning. Same thing for tomorrow as well. Next week, it looks like the beginning of next week might be scaling back a little bit. I know that the rain has been quite the reprieve on having to run the AC nonstop. But at a certain point, you start asking, my goodness, how many days in a row can it rain? We've got to be over 3 weeks straight now, right? Probably pushing 4. I should find that out. We will. All right. Take a quick break. When we come back from that break, talk a little LSU football. The first fall scrimmage was yesterday, and we will have a report heading your way next on Talk 107.3. Mm-hmm. Ribeye would be good right now. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, both about food. Boo-doo-doo. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm glad Taylor smells smoke up there as well, because I was starting to think I was having a stroke. Oh, okay. Yeah, it smells like there was a campfire that was put out, and it's stronger on the other end. I wonder if we had like a bomb on the stairwell. Yeah. D- 6:15. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, Roland right along. Sports time here on Talk 107.3 FM. LSU had their first fall scrimmage under first-year head coach Brian Kelly yesterday. Arizona State transfer Jaden Daniels took the majority of the first-team reps at quarterback. Six-year senior Miles Brennan ran with the twos. The third quarterback competing for the starting job is redshirt freshman Garrett Nussmeier, who did not participate due to an injury. Kelly says Nussmeier was held out due to an ankle injury. He does expect him back real soon, though.
He just came down, very similar to when a basketball player comes down on somebody else's foot. Very similar situation. He's recovered quite nicely, so just a minor ankle situation for him.
An area of concern for Kelly and his staff had been the defensive backs after there was very little depth within the last position group throughout the spring practice, which caused Kelly to bring in a number of transfers. Kelly says that the secondary has really impressed the coaching staff during fall practice.
Concerns that we had there are starting to be alleviated by the production in the play, not by wishing and hoping. I think there was a lot of wishing and hoping coming in, and we're actually seeing production and consistency out of that group.
Production and consistency is what you need to start things off, to be sure. Moving over towards the Advocate does a great breakdown. Wilson Alexander and Leah Van over at the Advocate did a great breakdown. What we learned about LSU's football position battles from an open practice is the headline of the article. And when talking about the defensive backs, they say the most consistent first grouping in the secondary during the fully padded session was McNeese State transfer cornerback Colby Richardson, Oklahoma State transfer cornerback Jared Bernard Converse, redshirt sophomore safety Major Burns, senior safety Jay Ward, and redshirt freshman nickel safety Sage Ryan. Okay. How about that? I mean, Major Burns, Jay Ward, and Sage Ryan we've heard because they were here, last year. But bringing in two new guys and having them mesh that well that quickly, that does sound very good. Keeping it with the Advocate article, but skipping down a little bit, they say the tight end spot was considered an area of concern for most of the year. Kelly saying this summer LSU wouldn't use multiple tight end sets like they wanted to because of depth issues at the position. However, it looked like there was no shortage of tight end depth out there yesterday. The Advocate says it still may not be a strength, but offensive coordinator and tight ends coach Mike Denbrock said earlier this week he has seen some, quote, pretty dramatic improvement from where we were in the spring. The tight ends made multiple plays Thursday with graduate Nick Storrs and junior Cole Taylor catching passes. Afterward, Kelly highlighted freshman Mason Taylor, a 6'5", 245-pound son of NFL Hall of Famer Jason Taylor. He was not originally expected to play too much this year. And then don't forget about the guy who played tight end all last year. Was not targeted very often. Maybe had like 4 catches on the whole season. But the only reason LSU had any kind of run game at all last year was Jack Mashburn. Kelly said probably one of the most pleasant surprises has been Mason Taylor. He's ready to help us win this year. He's going to play for us. He's been outstanding. I feel so much better about that position because of his presence and the way he's shown himself. So I'll take it as we ramp up towards opening weekend down in New Orleans, Labor Day weekend down in New Orleans, September 4th to take on Florida State. I'll take it. It's a good spot to be in. The transformation of this program has been good. Tempering expectations will be next, but we'll roll with it. Quick break to check the Fox Business Report and traffic. Coming back next on Talk 107.3. Go ahead and share the old YouTube onto the Facebook. Whoa. Do you? Do you want to get away? You want to get away? Well, it's costing less now. That's good. Yeah. Oh, no. Now, if you had looked at tickets 4 weeks ago, well, you did fly somewhere recently, didn't you? There's only one spot? Okay. Cool. Oh, wait. I got a text. Hang on. Please be my wife because I don't want to deal with anybody else right now. Hey, morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo.
Christy up in the house.
All right. Yeah. Good. This morning. About the Netflix series. Oops. I already said that, dude. Dude. Do I have any lives yet? Okay. I don't like any of the other stories that friggin'. I don't like any of the other stories in the news. Yeah, we'll get to that one later. It's another one of those songs that TikTok gave another life to.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard this on TikTok.
Oh, well, it's a couple months ago now.
Oh.
But, yeah. .624, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Actress Emily Pendergast coming up in just a little bit. Emily is on the show Live and Local with alongside Dave Coulier. Yes, Full House's Dave Coulier. And she was also on Veep, and she's a member of the Groundlings, which I absolutely love. We'll hear from her next. Also this hour, today is the 6th anniversary of the flood, the 2016 flood. I should say the first day of the 6th anniversary, because if we all recall, that 2016 flood, it kind of slow played on the front end and then slower played on the back end. We'll talk about that at 6:52 before we're done with this hour. Right now, though, I got a couple things we want to talk about. First of all, told you earlier in the week about what looked like it could be the makings of a tropical storm. It's gone now. There's nothing, no tropical cyclone activity is expected over the next 48 hours throughout the entire Atlantic. So now we are on August 12th and still looking good. Fully expecting that, as soon as next week gets here, we're going to start to see the little yellow X's on the map, the orange X's on the map, and, well, eventually the red X's and or storms on the map. But the one from earlier in this week has now dissipated. It was only looking at about a 20% chance of forming in the first place and fizzled down to nothing. So Taylor told you, not a lot going on traffic-wise. However, as the morning wears on, there might be some accidents, and should you find yourself in an accident, You know where to go. I tell you about them every day. Complete Collision Center. They've got 2 locations, Plank Road in Zachary and Perkins, just east of Bluebonnet. Also tell you every day about their certifications. More than a dozen major car manufacturers have certified Complete Collision Center. I tell you about the iCar Gold Class certification, which puts them in the top 15% of body shops nationwide at Complete Collision Center. I don't just speak on their behalf. I'm actually a customer. Been there twice. Love the service I get. And this is the part that you're not going to find on the website, but you might find on like a review of their business. Their level of communication with their customers is fantastic. As we're dealing with labor shortages, supply chain issues, everything else that's going on in our world right now, the folks over at Complete Collision Center were on the phone with me regularly. Mr. Haldane, here's where we are. Here's where we're going. Here's where it's going to end up. Okay, awesome. You know how much easier it is to map out the rest of your life while your car's on the shelf, to map out the rest of your life if you know exactly when things are going to proceed? Just a simple nod, a little bit of communication. That's all we need. And that's what they provide over there at Complete Collision Center. Not to mention the fact that due to all the certifications, training, and everything else that they do, they're going to get your family back on the road safely. 768-9898 is the phone number, 768-9898. Check them out online at CompleteCollision.com. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out CompleteCollision.com. Got news coming your way in just a little bit. Emily Pendergast will follow that. And then we'll talk about the flood. If you wanted to start talking about the flood right now, YouTube's the place to be. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and subscribe while you're there. Before we get you to news, though, saw this one from the Advocate as well. 4 in 10 Louisiana third graders can't read at grade level, putting their whole school career at risk. The number of third graders with major reading problems has gotten worse since the start of the pandemic. Just the latest red flag in Louisiana's uphill fight to improve its crippling literacy woes. Will Centel putting this article together. Third graders scoring below grade level in reading and related topics shot up 37% this year compared to 2019, the year before the pandemic started playing havoc with classrooms, according to the latest LEAP results. We had Dr. Cade Brumley on the show last Thursday, a week ago yesterday, talking about LEAP scores, because LEAP scores are looking like they're on their way back. Up this year over last year, or I should say 2021 to 22 school year was up over the 20 to 21 school year. I asked Dr. Brumley, where are we at in comparison with the year before that, or before the pandemic? And he said, we're not there yet. He said it better than that, but he said, we're not there yet. We're still on the way. Back to the Advocate article. The latest results show 41% of those children are reading below grade level. A total of 53% of black children scored at the 2 lowest achievement levels, a 26% hike over the last pre-pandemic snapshot. Among white students, 27% scored either approaching basic or unsatisfactory. Those are 59% increases over 2019. The 5 achievement levels are advanced, mastery, basic, approaching basic, and unsatisfactory. So you had an uptick of 26% among black children, 59% increase in white children. By the way, students who score approaching basic or unsatisfactory are generally considered to be performing below grade level, which boosts their chances for learning problems and eventually dropping out of school. And this is one of the things that needs to be talked about on a much bigger level. You're able to diagnose problems in high schoolers well before high school. And if you're not diagnosing those problems early, then by the time you get around to it, it's already too late. If you're not diagnosing those problems early, then the students clock out. The apathy sets in. They're behind the 8 ball, constantly trying to play catch up. And then they just give up. Third grade is kind of the barometer for that. By the way, State Superintendent of Education, Dr. Cade Brumley, told the Advocate, we do know we have work to do there. He said as much on the show last Thursday. That conversation is available on demand at talk1073.com if you wanted to check it out. We talked a lot about LEAP scores, but we had other topics as well. But within the LEAP scores, while the article reads like things are very, very bad and things are bad, we're better now than we were last year. Here comes CBS News. Hey. I'm starting to think that our clock is a little bit off. Yeah. Because as I'm driving in this, I was a little bit late this morning. I didn't get here. I left my house at like 4:25 instead of the normal 4:15. So as I was driving in, I heard CBS News, and there was like a 4-second gap between the end of the last spot and the beginning of the bottom of the hour news. And then CBS News cut off with about 4 seconds to go, played a promo, computer fired off the promo, and then there was about a 4-second gap between the second half hour of America in the Morning kicked in. So, no, you don't. You don't fix it. I'm just saying that it might be tied into something with the clock being off. Do you have the Emily Pendergast interview? What? All right, what's going on, YouTube? Good morning, Kevin, Eric, Renee. What's happening, everybody? Galen, what's going on? Debbie, what's happening? Thanks a lot. You have a great read. I'm a Law and Order kind of guy, but if I'm sitting on the jury, I do not think I convict Jarrett Ambeau of anything. Well, no, Jarrett Ambeau was the attorney, not the. It was Anthony Tomplay was the accused. Template. Texas. Eric says, I started it last night. I'm done with the first 2 episodes. My question, did the jury hear the life story of this kid? Yeah. Yeah. They dive into that a lot more in the 3rd episode, actually. When interviewing Jarrett Ambeau, I'd like to know what he's done with his life to overcome his challenges. Oh, yeah, it's not Jarrett, Anthony. Okay. I will ask that. Let me get a little, let me take some notes here so I don't forget today. Because there's going to be a lot that I want to ask him as well. And you know what? Over on ESPN, our promo's playing. Heard it twice yesterday. I don't know. I'll find out. Yeah. All right. What has... I think we're getting tickets to this. We might have giveaways. Patty LaBelle, CeeLo Green, Cool and the Gang. Yeah, Cool and the Gang. Whole gang's still there. No, not just Cool. the whole gang. Huh? Yeah, I like when we share advertisers with the Alex Jones show. I binge watched ISMD. The girl in the picture. Christy and I started that when she finished it. I didn't get to see the whole thing. The 12th was the day of the heavy rains up near Centerville, Mississippi and Gloucester. Yeah, it was yeah. Time to get a look at the weekend forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo. All right, I'm going to disappear for a minute so y'all can hear the interview. I said I'm going to disappear so y'all can hear the interview. Oh, looking forward to this one when a radio guy can talk with somebody about being in a show about radio. It's always going to be fun. You know her from Veep. Now she's on Live and Local. Emily Pendergast, welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me. I feel honored to talk to a real radio pro. I just got to play one.
Yes. So let's dive right in and talk about it. Tell me all about Live and Local.
It was so, Dan Merchant pitched this show to me when at the end of last year, and was just like, we're going to be like a live radio show. It's a working studio, and Tina Knott, who I got to play, is this character that's just kind of coming into her own confidence and being able to know that she can handle segments on her own, and up against Dave Coulier, who's the incredible Tommy Murphy, and he's a legend, and such a pleasure to be able to work with him. And he's just, a curmudgeon-y man, just set in his ways, this dinosaur at K-Hug, the radio station. And the show starts the morning after we have all these new people. So Lucy is our new producer, who was an intern as of the night before the show starts. And that's played by Kendra Ann Sherrill, and she's incredible. And she plays this, nervous Nelly producer, and she's trying to handle all of these new responsibilities as Jerry, the new studio head, comes in, and played by Pat Cashman, who is a national treasure. And so we get to see Tommy start getting less confident in his position there as Tina's starting to get more confident.
How much did you have to dive into radio people to get into this character?
Yeah, it was so cool to have the experience to then go, when my headphones are on and my mic is live and we're doing our on-air segments, that is a personality. And then taking those off and then being able to be annoyed with Tommy and that real relationship behind the scenes of going no, you disappointed me. I want to, and having those different things, then putting the headphones on and being and we're back. So that was very, very fun. And I didn't have any experience in radio. I felt very fortunate that Dave did, and Dan as well. And just kind of and we were on air as well with cameras. So we had 6 stationary cameras too. And then just being able to be aware of that and run my computer and have the mic and make sure that the copy is correct and in the right order of what we need it to be was really, it was a crash course in radio, and I loved it.
Very cool stuff. Now, K-Hug, the station that you're on the show, and I have not yet been able to see Live and Local yet, but K-Hug, tell me about the format. What kind of radio are y'all doing?
So and I learned that it has 5 letters, so it's not. So it's KHUGG. So I guess all radio is 4 letters. So I learned that right away. It's a Christian radio station, and it's in the morning. It's go live at 5 a.m. And so we have different guests on, and from a Skillet, John Cooper Skillet, who's this like rock star and toured with so many legendary bands, and him and his wife are in this band together. And then to comedian Leanne Morgan, and so we got to do live interviews as we're doing right now, and so that was really awesome. And so, you know, I'd go home to we filmed in Spokane, Washington, and I'd go back to the hotel and I would pull up the people and do research on them so we could have these conversations, and that was just really awesome. And it's, you know, a very family friendly show, and which, you know, Dave is awesome at, and being able to like hear him pitch jokes and include me on doing like bits and going to improvise together was really awesome.
Improvising together is kind of your background, though. You started with the Groundlings, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I'm a main company member at Groundlings, and I've for the last 5 years almost, I've been part of it, and I started taking classes there in 2012. And yeah, I think improv is a real magical art form. You know, it teaches you to be so present and decisive, and be open to anything. You know, I think the greatest improvisers can just like go headfirst into joy and just like, and not be afraid of what's going to happen, because they know they can always come back to that like foundation. And so being able to improvise with Dave, who was so selfless and so great, it was really special.
You were also on Veep. Give me some side-by-side comparisons here as to what it was like working with that group versus this group.
Yeah, you know, like with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Dave Coulier, like it was, I mean, I felt like I could not believe I got to work with both of them, you know, and it's on HBO, so it, you know, a lot of those jokes couldn't be on Live at Local and for our show, but it was so in both situations, it was a very collaborative experience, and Veep was one of the first big things that I did, and I got to be a part of the entire last season, and getting to work with those people and just like these legends and giants in the comedy world, and they included me, and they like helped me be a part of like scenes, and I was getting added to different scenes as well. And so I think the comparison, the through line is a collaborative work experience, and everyone couldn't have been kinder and just more wonderful. You know, I feel very fortunate that I got to meet and work with a lot of my heroes.
Very cool stuff. And from here, you're moving on to a show called White House Plumbers. Yes,
White House Plumbers is on HBO. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it's with Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux, and Alex Gregory and Pete Hike wrote it with Dave Mandel, who are some people from Veep as well. And it's about Watergate, and it follows Gordon Liddy and Howard Hunt's story in it, and it's so good. And I feel very lucky to have a very small part in it, and I got to watch Woody Harrelson act like right in front of my eyes, and so I couldn't believe it. And I think just check it out, because it'll be really fun, and it's so surreal. I can't believe that all of those details really happened during Watergate. Just nuts.
I'm looking forward to this one. This sounds amazing as well, as does Live and Local. Hey, you got about a minute left with Emily Pendergast from Live and Local. So you mentioned getting to interview Leanne Morgan. I was scrolling through the IMDb. I saw Dallas Jenkins on that roster as well.
Yes. I mean, everyone was I got these opportunities to meet people I would have never gotten the chance to talk with, and it was so cool just to be. And everyone was so kind, and yeah, like it was really such interesting people. I feel fortunate that I got to interview.
I'm like nerding out over hearing that. I'm a huge fan of The Chosen. So when I saw the crossing of the streams between your work and his, I was like, oh, got to bring it up.
Yeah, no, for sure. And he was a pleasure. He was like the coolest guy. I was like, whoa, you're just cool. You're a cool dude.
No, he seems like it for sure. Emily from Live and Local, Emily Pendergast from Live and Local, also known her from Veep as well. Look, I really appreciate a couple minutes. I'm looking forward to checking out Live and Local. It sounds like a blast.
Thank you for your day.
You too. Live and Local is available on PureFlix. Check out pureflix.com if you wanted to know where to find that. But the White House Plumbers thing, I know it was only one question in the whole interview, but the White House Plumbers thing intrigues me because it looks like a comedic look back at the Nixon years, and you look at the parallels of what we're seeing going on right now, and I'm wondering, how long is it going to take before we meet that spot where we'll have a sense of humor about where we're at right now? Like, are we going to be able to look back at what's going on in America once it's done, once we moved on, once we're in a better place, we're going to be able to look back and, you know, this chapter of history the same way that now, 40 plus years later, 50 years later, we're looking back on the Nixon years and can have a show like the White House Plumbers, which, by the way, is going to also star Woody Harrelson. All right, quick break. When we come back from checking traffic and Your Money Now, we're up on the anniversary of the 2016 flood. We'll talk about it next. All right, who wants to play some Family Feuds? Anyone?
Family Feud Friday.
You said Mathurns?
Yeah, Mathurns. Family Feud Friday, everybody. Let's go. All right, let me find a question first. Should have done this.
Hey, if I forward you a video, can you put it up on the screen?
Of course I can.
Nope, I can't. I just deleted that email already.
Go into your trash
Which I
put it back into your inbox. Okay, this...
Nope, it's gone.
Oh. What is it? Was it on YouTube?
No, it was a Dropbox link.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait a minute. Can I recover that?
A Dropbox link? Is it not?
No, my deleteds. Can I undo all
you
the
can.
deleteds?
Oh, I don't know if you could undo the deleteds, but you could definitely undo a delete. All right, here's a Family Feud question.
Yes, please.
Top 6 answers are on the board. If you could be a doctor for a day, tell me something you'd look most forward to. If you could be a doctor to the day, or for a day. Let YouTube answer.
Yeah, I'm letting YouTube answer. If I could be a doctor for a day.
Yes, if you could be a doctor for a day, tell me something you look forward to most.
I mean,
There's the obvious answer.
Yes.
A physical.
Saving
Performing
lives.
a physical.
That's your honest answer?
Saving lives.
Saving lives, I would think, would be the honest answer there.
That's not the first answer on the board.
Beast is the first answer on the board. Really?
No.
Yeah.
The first, I'll let YouTube.
Oh, you know what? Writing my own prescriptions.
That's a good one, but it's not the number one answer on the board. But I would definitely be doing that.
All right.
That's actually not on the board at all.
Really?
Which is surprising.
I think so.
Ding, ding, ding. Debbie has the number one answer. Payday.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a paycheck is the number one answer. Kevin O'Neill says saving lives. That's the number 2 answer. Helping people.
All right. Click on the one that says best video, and I just want it just as B-roll behind me. Troy says my day off. I mean, you get to be a doctor for a day, and all you're looking forward to is your day off. Oh, is it only 20 seconds? What's the other one then? Ew. No, the other one is all the links. I don't want to mess with that. Yeah. Bruh. The longest one in here is only 31 seconds. Can you play it on a loop? Yeah. See, that's how you know Mark's got a background in TV. Like, rather than having like an 8-minute video that just he grabs enough to have in the background of a package for the 10 o'clock news.
Byron said Margot Robbie's skin cancer exam. Margot Robbie is super hot. I don't roll that way, but she's really good looking. My girl crush. Maybe.
Okay.
I think. I can't think of another one that I'd be like, yeah, definitely.
Troy says I'm not reading between the lines. I guess I'm not. That's.
All right, weather.
No.
Oh, no, just kidding. No weather. I don't know where I'm at right now.
.652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Coming up on the weekend, and about this time every week, I like to remind you, if you're getting out of the house this weekend, maybe going down doing a little fishing, maybe hitting the pool, whatever you might be doing, getting outdoors to enjoy the weekend, looking to enjoy a couple of cold beers, might I point you towards Mathern's. They're on campus, Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, right across the street from Tiger Stadium. They'll be your tailgating headquarters in just a couple weeks. But as summer continues to move by a little bit too quickly at this point with school back in, not too quickly for getting the kids back to school, but for the rest of the summer activities for sure. As summer continues to move on by, I'd like to remind you about the craft beer selection they've got over there at Mathern's. Nothing better on a hot day than a cold beer, and they can hook you up over there. Not to mention, they are a full-service grocery store as well. Oh, by the way, get all your grocery shopping done over at Mathern's. If you download the Mathern's app right now, you get your shopping done before you leave work. Pop in the parking lot. They bring it out to you. Boom, you're done. I just saved you an hour out of your weekend. You're welcome. You know where they're at downtown on 3rd Street. You also need to know that they are on campus as we get closer to game day. First game in Tiger Stadium this year will be September 10th as we inch towards September 10th. Mathern's is your tailgate headquarters. All right. Today marks the 6-year anniversary of the start of the Great Flood of 2016. You heard the story from Kevin Gallagher in our news at the bottom of last hour, talking about getting back to it over in Denham Springs with Southside Junior High and Elementary in Denham. I mean, completely torn down after the flood. Rebuilt, opening this year. Southside Junior High coach and teacher Terry Hoover, he told our news partners over at Louisiana Radio Network, the new schools are incredible.
To be able to be now 5.5, 6 years later into the new campus is just amazing. I believe, from what I heard, maybe $51 million with the two schools combined.
Hoover's one of a handful of teachers who stuck it out in temporary schools. They were made up of connected modular buildings, saying it wasn't ideal, but you trudge your way through. You make the best of it.
And just to go from where we were to now perhaps the finest middle school, elementary school, maybe in the entire state, certainly for public schools, it's just an incredible campus.
One of the bigger issues that we've seen, and we've talked with Congressman Garrett Graves about this a lot. We've talked with Senator Bill Cassidy about this a lot. And that's just the dragging out of the programs, the dragging out of getting your dollars to you, the red tape to get funds from FEMA. We've all experienced in our personal lives. This is on a different level, getting it for new school facilities. 6 years. I mean, look at where, if you flooded, look at where you're at right now and how long it took you to get there. Now imagine that on the scale of a school. Hoover says, though it was a long ordeal, they appreciate the efforts it took to finally get it done.
Superintendent Murphy and I was told that Congressman Graves were instrumental in helping us get those things fixed so we could get the school built. So it's an incredible facility. Everybody's super excited.
They better be. I mean, to take that long to get back up and running. And not the fault of anybody locally. This is dealing with the federal government. Meanwhile, back home, the city parish has been working hard on helping to ensure that there won't be another flood like this. One of the problems in 16 was the drainage. Now, I don't think there's anything could have been done overall because of the amount that just dumped on us in the time that it did, over the course of time that it did. But the city's been hard at work. City Parish has removed 20,000 cubic yards of debris from Bayou Manchac. And most of this done in late 2021. It's been rolling on since then. This is, downriver from here, along the Ascension border, through the EBR American Rescue Plan Drainage Initiative. Through that same initiative, the city parish has also removed more than 17 million pounds of debris from 61 miles of storm drains since June of 2021. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's a little bit of video of what the work has looked like. Although I got to say, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing within what they're doing in this particular video, that's natural debris. That's not the cause of man here. That's a tree branch falling in. Huge branch, by the way. And you add to that branch empty water bottles, empty beer cans, empty chicken boxes, empty whatever the litter is that's alongside the road. You add to that everything that just gets thrown out of a car window or flies out the bed of a truck or falls out of the garbage truck as the automated claw dumps everything, shakes your can violently above the truck on garbage day, which I'm sure we're going to hear right behind us any moment now. But all the little pieces of litter that are all over the ground every single day, when you see the giant tree branches, a huge limb with all the little branches branched off of it, so the empty chicken box hits the giant tree branch, and then so does the water bottle, and then so does X, Y, and Z, every little piece of debris that's out there, and now you've got a dam built up. 17 million pounds of debris from 61 miles of storm drains since 2021, or June of 2021. By the way, the city parish has also repaired 369 pipes and sinkholes, repaired 3 concrete-lined canals, and recently began some roadside ditch cleaning as well. It's an ongoing process, and it is exacerbated by the amount with which we litter. The natural stuff is always going to be there, sure. But the way, the volume with which we add to it is disgusting. I mean, you drive past it every day, but if you ever get out and really look at it, it's so overwhelming and it's so gross. But today, we look back on 6 years since the flood began. I want to hear your stories. Post them up on YouTube. Mornings with Brian Haldane on YouTube. Go ahead and post up what your experience was like in 2016. We're going to talk about it during the break before we get to Hour 2 right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Hour 2 is going to be coming your way right after we check CBS News, the CBS World News Roundup. It's coming your way right now. It's heads up 7 o'clock on Talk 107.3. Okay, so I was looking to have a vodka martini the other night. What? With 3 seconds to go. But I'll get blamed saying that I'm not timing it right. I'll let him know. I'll let Kate and Chris know. What does your clock say? You're 3 seconds fast versus 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. Let's get it. You know what? We'll talk a little bit about the flood. And then we'll get back to another Family Feud question in a minute. Give me the top 6 answers from the last one. It was...
The top 6 answers was getting a paycheck, helping people, operating, going golfing, giving shots, and vacationing.
Okay. I think Troy was talking about going golfing when he said I wasn't reading between the lines. Yeah. Anyway. Troy says, if I was a doctor for a day, I'd book all a-holes I've seen in waiting rooms overreact for the doc being late for the same afternoon appointment. Same afternoon appointment time and run incredibly late. That's the world I want to live in. Yeah. Yeah, I think I would definitely fill up the waiting room for sure. And yeah, just be off by at least an hour on everything. Kevin says, been a while since you've had Jennifer Richardson keep Tigertown clean on. She has been tearing it up on Nextdoor. Eric says the Keep Tigertown Clean lady is awesome. Yeah, she is. Let me just go ahead and tease what's coming up next week. There's going to be a pretty huge announcement about a lot of funding heading into this. Yeah, I don't think I can go into further details yet, but Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is going to join us on the show Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning at 7:35. Oh, God. I know, but it was 3 days ago. Like, if they've had her not stabilized, but alive this whole time. Yeah. Kevin says, Debbie says, living off the A-meat and seeing people's lives pass by. My goodness, yes. The 2016 flood. You know, one of the things that I remember, aside from grabbing your family at 4 o'clock in the morning and like driving away as the water's rising, like the tires are actually in the water. I know. Aside from that, though, and going to a friend's house for a couple of hours, trying to get a little bit of rest. You're not going to sleep because, you know, you don't know how deep your home is underwater. But we had friends over in Westminster. We stayed with them for a minute, and then we went to Christy's parents' house in Pearl River. Trying to get out of town that morning, which was, I guess it was a Sunday morning. I think so. It might have been a Saturday. I don't know. But trying to get out of town that morning, and you'd go a certain way, and then you have to turn around because that way was underwater. And we couldn't take 12 to go east because it was underwater. So we ended up going down to 10, and we were trying to get, assuming there was going to be a bunch of traffic on 10 with people trying to get out of town, like trying to escape this. We tried to take Airline. Airline was impassable. Wait, no. Airline wasn't impassable. What was impassable? That we ended up having to reroute like 10 times before getting out of town. Now, once we got east of Gonzales, we were good to go on 10 all the way through New Orleans and then up into Slidell to get to Pearl River. But, oh my word. Eric says, go look up Leighton Rick's State of the Parish from Wednesday. It's on YouTube. I will. Hey, kill the mics for one quick second. More rain in the forecast today. For a deeper dive into that, here's WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo.
Your Friday is bringing another...
And I said, don't you worry, child. She hasn't started playing for you. Don't you worry, yeah. Give me a stick. Morning from Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Alondra producing. Sharing your 2016 flood stories on our YouTube chat. Paul says bone dry and had flood insurance. Good on you. I mean, those are some blessings to count for sure. We had our home, and then we owned a rental home at the time, which we no longer own. Had insurance on the rental home because it was in a flood zone. Did not have insurance on flood insurance, that is, on our house because it was in a zone X, I think is what it was called, where we weren't required to have it. We were told that's never ever flooded here ever. Took 1.5 inches of water. That was it. 1.5 inches of water, if that. I mean, 1.5 inches might have been generous. But anybody who took any water in 2016 or last May, anybody who took any water at all knows full well you take 1 inch of water, you're getting rid of 4 feet of sheetrock. That was one of the most infuriating things looking back. And the red tape, everybody blaming FEMA. The red tape from FEMA was one thing, but my goodness, the haggling with the insurance company was another thing altogether. I actually got my FEMA money before I got my insurance money, which was incredible. Anyway, we look back on the 2016 flood, and we'll continue taking your stories, sharing your stories on our YouTube chat. Coming up this hour, have you watched I Just Killed My Dad? I finished it last night. Attorney Jarrett Ambeau will be in studio in our next segment. Looking forward to this conversation. How close to reality is reality TV? How close to reality is this documentary? We'll talk with Jarrett next. Also this hour, let's get caught up with the Knock Knock Museum. Jimmy Frederick's going to be by in about half an hour from right now. We do, however, start the hour off with top stories and trending. Let's roll. Yo, fuck it up. It's time for the news.
When you hear, what do you say? Tell me what happened.
Now, top stories and trending
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.
on Talk 107.3 FM.
The most trusted name in news.
I want to know absolutely everything that's happened up to now.
Number 5.
So the DCFS story is not going to go away anytime soon. A New Orleans area legislator wants the head of DCFS ousted in the wake of multiple failures at the agency, including the death of a toddler who ate fentanyl and the sexual abuse of multiple foster kids. Quote, DCFS is in complete dysfunction, State Representative Jason Hughes said. Arrests were made in 2 separate cases last week. The 2-year-old who died of a fentanyl overdose after repeated trips to the ER for the same thing, and a 52-year-old man accused of multiple counts of sexual abuse of foster children in his care, all of which has been documented that it was in front of DCFS on numerous occasions. Earlier this week, representatives from DCFS faced questions from lawmakers, blamed the failures on staffing shortages. That explanation wasn't enough for some lawmakers. Representative Jason Hughes in New Orleans is one of them. He's so dissatisfied with the response that he took to social media yesterday, calling for Secretary Marquetta Walters to lose her job.
Number 4.
All right, everybody glad to be back at school? Good. Now go home. Wedgwood Elementary, calling it for the week. In East Baton Rouge Elementary School was shut down today, less than a week after the first day of classes, out of, quote, an abundance of caution due to several COVID cases on campus. Wedgwood Elementary was closed Friday. Will continue with online learning for the day. This according to a statement released earlier Friday morning by the school system. The impacted classrooms will be deep cleaned, the school system said, and learning will continue in person on Monday. I guess they haven't read the new CDC guidelines. More on that later.
Number 3.
A man arrested in a child porn investigation allegedly shared videos of a dog being sexually assaulted while messaging young girls on social media. The East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office said 23-year-old Travis Arsenault was arrested Thursday. According to the Sheriff's Office, a tip led deputies to discover Arsenault was sharing videos of child porn on Instagram and Snapchat and using the social media apps to solicit young girls. In some of the messages uncovered by investigators, he allegedly shared videos of a dog being sexually abused. Arrest document said Arsenault also sent unsolicited nude photos of himself to girls on the apps. He was booked Thursday for computer-aided solicitation of a minor, sexual abuse of an animal, and pornography involving juveniles.
Number 2.
A man was arrested Wednesday after allegedly raping a girl under the age of 12. According to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office, 34-year-old Lewis Williams was taken into custody Wednesday following a sexual assault investigation involving a juvenile victim under 12 years old. Deputies learned the girl had been exhibiting, quote, strange behavior around Williams for the past several months. Text messages between Williams and the victim revealed they had previously engaged in intercourse. When questioned, Williams told deputies that he had sex with the victim once in February of 2022. Williams was booked into the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison on a charge of first-degree rape. He is being held on a $70,000 bond.
Number 1.
Just once. Under 12, but just once. And it was February. Valentine. $70,000 bond. That's it. All right, moving on. A 15-year-old is one of 2 people facing murder charges after they allegedly bragged on social media about killing a woman in an ambush on Florida Boulevard. The Baton Rouge Police Department said the unidentified teen and another suspect, 21-year-old Naquez Preston, were booked for first-degree murder in the May 18th shooting. Police said Madison Brown, 18 years old, was sitting in the passenger seat of a car driving down Florida when the vehicle was boxed in by a pickup truck and an SUV. Once the vehicle was blocked in, someone opened fire on the car, killing Brown. 2 other people riding in Brown's car were unharmed. According to arrest documents, both vehicles were used in the attack had been reported stolen. Both suspects were booked on charges of first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and illegal use of weapons. Police did not immediately name the juvenile due to his age, but again, the accused bragged about it on social media. Those are your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. Go back to Wedgwood shutting down. The nation's top public health agency on Thursday relaxed their COVID-19 guidelines, dropping the recommendation that Americans quarantine themselves if they come into close contact with an infected person. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention also said people no longer need to stay at least 6 feet away from others. The changes are driven by a recognition that more than 2.5 years since the start of the pandemic, an estimated 95% of Americans 16 and older have acquired some level of immunity, either from being vaccinated or infected or both. The CDC recommendations apply to everyone in the U.S., but, and this is the way the AP is reporting it, so it's, well-timed when talking about with Wedgwood shutting down. Recommendations apply to everyone, but the changes could be particularly important for schools, which resume classes this month in many parts of the country. The changes and recommendations are subject to further change should we see another surge. Those are your top stories and trending. We are due up for a break. When we come back from that break, I Just Killed My Dad. Are you watching it? We're going to get inside the Netflix series with attorney Jarrett Ambeau next. Yo, man. How's it going? Let's get you right here. Okay. I didn't delete these. Then let me do St. James Place on the way back in. We have about another minute for traffic. And then a quick read and then right in. Oh, so we'll walk through a little bit about the process. Like, what's it like having? Does it?
Cameras follow you around?
Yeah.
A year and a half?
Yeah. We're always on YouTube, by the way. I don't like anybody with a hot mic situation. Although I'd probably have better numbers if I did.
I'm an attorney. I act like I'm being recorded all the time. Stay alert, stay alive.
In this day and age,
Here's my policy.
I'm amazed by hot mic situations in this day and age.
Why would you even open your mouth?
Right.
I mean, not to mention just the fact that the people that get caught doing so, why are you saying the kind of crazy stuff that gets you in trouble in the first place? But
right, exactly.
In today's world,
yeah, all mics are hot. So watch the series, and like one of the first shot that was inside your office in the boardroom or whatever. where the hell is his office? He's like on the what is he, Rambo?
That's hilarious.
You're off of Blue Bonnet by the Swamp, I guess, right?
Yeah, so that is actually Greg Rosa's office.
Oh, okay.
So at the time, I was doing a lot of work with those guys, him and his brother, and so they filmed in there. My office is on Blue Bonnet. It's just down the street.
Okay.
Blue Bonnet, so
okay.
It's not nearly as picturesque, so they wanted to do it there.
Gotcha.
So.
716, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, Roland, right along. Going to dive into this conversation in short order. Oh, quick reminder, Top Stories and Trending brought to you every day by the folks over at St. James Place. If you have not yet had the chance to check them out, I highly recommend you do so. stjamesplace.org is the website. If you know them for a reputation of being a nursing home, squash that reputation. Full, all-inclusive retirement community. They have nursing care when you need it, but full, all-inclusive retirement community all the way up until then. If you're approaching retirement, still leading a very active lifestyle, stjamesplace.org, 215-4500 is the phone number, 215-4500, St. James Place. Live life well. All right. It's been all over Netflix this week, dropped on Tuesday. I don't know if we're paying more attention to it because it's here, but the Anthony Tomplay case. I Just Killed My Dad is what they named the series. Joining me in studio right now is attorney Jarrett Ambeau. He was Tomplay's lead attorney in this case. Jarrett, welcome aboard, man. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about this because these crime documentaries, by and large, are all the rage. Like everybody's just binge consuming them left and right. My wife and I went from The Staircase over to this one. So I want some perspective from inside the making of a documentary. We'll talk a little bit about Anthony towards the back end of the interview, because his story, not just leading up to the killing, but since the end of the trial, I think is very important. So we'll make sure we have we reserve some time for that. But let's talk about it. What is it like as an attorney having a documentary crew follow you around the entirety of the trial?
I mean, setting aside some of the concerns about filming an active criminal defense case,
right?
Which, of course, we had some concerns about. It was interesting. They followed us around for about 18 months and really just, turned the cameras on and let us do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
The cameras can't be in the courtroom, so they were outside of the courtroom essentially every time we had a court date, and we'd come outside and talk about it. The video footage at the end where I tell Anthony the sort of the outcome of the entire matter.
Yeah.
Is that happens live. I mean, that's when Anthony finds out. That's 100% legitimate. They were just waiting on the street when I walked back from Hiller's office. So.
Something that did come up. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. It might seem random, but I just got done watching the series. So, Anthony's lack of emotion throughout, it was big in the first episode and then kind of waned a little bit after that. To what is that attributed? I mean, he almost, I don't know. Is there something like medical there?
I'm not a medical professional, but from the forensic psychologists that we hired and the people that we talked to, having a flat affect, having a no emotional state like that is a survival mechanism, right?
Yeah.
When you grow up in a home like Anthony grew up in, having emotions, having fun, laughing was a problem. If they laughed in the home, his father would accuse them of laughing at him.
Okay.
And so he was conditioned not to have emotion, because if you have an emotion, you attract attention, and attention means I might get hurt.
And just it was when you gave the news to him and the lack of emotion there, it was like the reaction as a viewer was kind of split. On the one hand, it's like, bro, you just cut your entire life back. And on the other hand, it's like, well, it's kind of on brand for where he's been.
Well, it's hard to believe too, right? I mean, look, up until that moment, when I walked away from him just 15 or 20 minutes before, the district attorney, Dana Cummings, was still on manslaughter. We were still looking at time in jail.
Yeah.
And so when I came back, that's why he asks me, is this real? He's actually checking to see, are you messing with me? Like, is this an actual thing? Do I not have to go to jail? And so, that's part of it, I think, was the shock of the moment and the realization that we had been successful in his defense. I think that's part of it. But the other one is that it's just difficult. When you're conditioned all your life not to feel, because feelings get you in trouble, then you just don't feel. I mean, that's how that works out.
I mean, amazing. Watching his lack of reaction was, that's where it's at. All right, let's talk a little bit about what went into the decision of having cameras follow you. Does that change your approach? Does that change, they say when the subject of an experiment knows they're being observed, it changes their behavior within the experiment, therefore altering the results. I would imagine the same would be true here.
Yeah, it's not possible to completely remove yourself from the fact that there are cameras around. I mean, there's no question. And I think that can be seen in the documentary. There's a little grandstanding. I don't mind admitting that I'm being, I'm kind of being a tough guy. Look, what it is, it is, right?
We have attorney Franz Borghardt on every week. I know the drill.
I mean, it happens,
I know
right?
the drill.
But at the same token, I made an agreement with them, two things. You can't release a single thing until this entire matter's over. Not a single picture, not a single word, until everything is adjudicated and done. Mm-hmm. We contracted to that, written contract to that. And the second thing I said to them was it has to benefit Anthony. And if it doesn't benefit Anthony, then I don't want to be involved in it. And so what ended up happening was we hired this forensic psychologist expert, and Netflix had decided to pay me a small fee. I just forwarded that fee to her. And so they gave me a small fee for some documents and such. I mean, I literally put it in my trust account and then just forwarded that to her to pay for her services. Okay. And then I had to pay her some extra money too. But that was sort of the point for me was if these people are going to come in, let's let it benefit Anthony's defense, period.
Okay. Speaking of transfer of payments and whatnot, you did this one pro bono.
I did.
What brought you to it?
So I had a few people ask me. One of them was Shana Landry, who's in the documentary. Another's who was an attorney at the time, is now a judge in Ascension Parish, Judge Cody Martin. He's connected to the family in some way through his wife, I believe, and just knows the family, Susan Menino's family, and so he kind of said, "Hey," and had contacted me and said, "Hey, would you look into this and see, if you?" And I trust Judge Martin, and so I went and talked to the kid. I talked to his stepmom, and then talked to him, and got involved.
As far as the following of the trial was concerned, and more, actually, a lot more of the documentary was about Anthony's life leading up to the trial. Like the trial itself was not the feature of the documentary. It was everything about Bert and who he was. How close did they get to reality with that?
So that's we didn't try the case, right? This was a plea. We pled this with Hiller. We did a mock trial, and that was, part of our defense was to figure out how to try the case if we had to try it. I mean, It's something that we do. But, the important part here was the history, right? It was framing up why this had occurred, right? Why would Anthony have done such a thing that seemed so incredibly egregious, so violent? What is the purpose of this? And telling that story was important. In fact, it was the defense, right? Let me tell this story. Let me give you the information, Miss Assistant District Attorney, and let's figure out what's really going on here before you throw this kid away.
What was Netflix's pitch?
So it was a production company that actually contacted us, right? I mean, that's how this works. A production company gets it, then Netflix buys it from them. And it really was, the pitch really was that he had been, kidnapped and secreted away by this man, right? I mean, and that was our sort of defense. That's what we had said. Look, if this just is an abusive situation, you don't get to kill your dad, right? We don't believe in the death penalty for abuse of children. And so that doesn't equal, that's not an equal sort of punishment for a crime.
Right.
So it had to be something different. It had to be something else, something more. And what more was that? Well, he was secreted. He was captured, almost imprisoned in his own home. Mm-hmm. And we believe that was really the turning point. That's what made this different than maybe just a normal sort of child abuse situation. With Anthony, and I want to make sure we have enough time, so we might move on to something else after this. But with Anthony, how's he been? He's been great. He's doing very good. He's working full time, living with his girlfriend, having a peaceful life, and doing everything he's supposed to do on probation, getting his education, really trying to move forward with getting his education.
So his education is going to be number one, and counseling is going to be number two. Is what I would assume. So how's he going about that now? Because part of the last episode was, there was a point where he realized he was too late to go to school. Like that might have been the stepmom saying that.
Right.
How is he going about that?
So it's been very, very difficult, actually. It's challenging. You'd be surprised how there's so much limited resources, right? There's limited resources out there as to education. And he can't just walk in and take his GED because he's not educated. I mean, he needs the learning first.
Right.
And so we've really focused on counseling, getting him well in terms of his mental and emotional state. And we're working now on, we've really started to refocus and pivot to, okay, let's get this education done. Let's start this process. And so I think hopefully the release of this documentary, we've actually raised some money for Anthony. And it's been, I think we're going to use those resources to get him both transportation, which makes it easier for him to find education resources.
Yeah.
And then give him some education resources.
I mean, not to look too far down the road, but if he doesn't turn out to be the poster boy for adult literacy, think about it. It was so small, but it stuck with me when he was being interviewed and asking if he could read and write. He said, and it was the verbiage that struck me. He says, "I can write all the letters." Like, just think about that turn of phrase, and for what is essentially a grown man.
Yeah, that's right. 16-year-old man saying that he was proud that he could write all the letters of the alphabet. That's what he thought was an indication that he could or was functionally literate.
Yeah.
And of course, to all of us as adults, our immediate reaction was, "Holy cow, man!"
Yeah,
that's something a 6-year-old would say, right? A 5-year-old, So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why I'm the father of a 6-year-old. That's kind of why it stuck with me. So, let's talk about inside his head right now. This is going to be a long and tough road. What kind of path? I know we can't get too deep into because that's private. But what kind of path is he on? How deep is this going to have to go?
I think that Anthony is healing. He's healing because he's focused on doing so. Not only for the criminal matter, not only because he's been told to do so, but because he thinks and knows it's important to be a functional and decent human being, right? He doesn't want to repeat a process or a sort of cycle of abuse and victimization. And so he's healing and he's getting better and he's making an effort to do so. He's for being an uneducated young man, he's intelligent and he has a level of intelligence where he understands what you tell him. He understands the purpose. And so that's been refreshing to be sure.
Go back to the documentary a little bit. You've seen it, I assume.
I have.
Okay. Most frustrating part from your end was what?
I would have liked to have seen a bit more of the manner in which Anthony was expressive. And it's really hard to capture, right? So he, in his interviews, he's just sort of talking and you don't see him. But then like off camera, we'd catch him and he'd be playful, or he'd smile and do something. And it was, to me, it was, I don't know. I wish they would have caught more of that. And in defense of the Netflix people, it's hard to do so when someone that's just does it so little.
Yeah.
But we would be together talking on the side, and I'd make some jokes, and he'd laugh and have fun. And I thought, it's also good to see that he's lighthearted, that he's learned how to enjoy some things in life, even in the midst of this incredible terror.
The women in Anthony's life, his mother, his stepmother, as a viewer, that was infuriating. That was just an infuriating part of the storyline, to be sure. The end of it, which he's reunited back with his mom again. How are they?
So he's not had any contact or relationship with any of the people in his life at that time. So
yeah,
he's really stayed away from his mom. He's stayed completely away from his stepmom and his stepbrother. He's just kind of withdrawn into a new set of family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, during the hurricane, his girlfriend's family took him out of state to keep him safe. And so they've really taken him in as a part of their own family. And so he's embraced that because I think for him, what's most healthy is just to leave that behind.
1,000%.
Because every time he comes into contact with any of those people that were in his life at that time, he's reminded of how difficult those events were and the traumas brought back up. And so I think he's made a decent choice not to involve himself.
Would you do this again? The documentary
100%.
journey? Really?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you this, Brian, the reaction has been overwhelming. I mean, overwhelming. The love and support from people for Anthony, the kindness that people have shown me and talked to me, it's just been, I mean, if nothing else comes of it, but that in this interview, then I'm just fine. I mean, seriously, man, I just, I'm not looking for anything out there in the world. The kindness of human beings has been remarkable during this process.
He is attorney Jarrett Ambeau. I greatly appreciate your time, man, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. We are due up for CBS News here at the bottom of the hour. After CBS News, let's get caught up with the Knock Knock Museum. What do they got going on? That's coming up next on Talk 107.3 FM. Thank you. No, absolutely. Thank you, man. I kill the like, I couldn't imagine being that secluded, that imprisoned, and that lack of social training, like out of the house and whatnot, and being able to cross that threshold. That's good on him.
Find a girl and talk to her. Come on, man. You know, that's pretty good, right?
I had enough trouble talking to girls I went to school my whole life.
Right?
You know,
That's pretty good. So, thanks, Brian. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you. Yeah, call me up if you want. You know, if you want to talk again, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's happening.
You'll have a good morning.
You too. What's going on?
Okay. I have another Family Feud question because I haven't asked one.
We haven't been doing the family. Jimmy, get in here, man. Play some Family Feud with us.
Get up in here, Jimmy. Okay. Top 4 answers are on the board. Name a reason Grandma might take out her false teeth.
Name a reason Grandma might take out her false teeth.
Yes.
Well, hopefully nothing that's in top stories and trending.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully not.
We'll give YouTube a minute to answer.
We'll give
before we jump
YouTube.
in. Eric says, has Joe Rogan reached out? Ask Jarrett.
I love Joe Rogan.
Band. What is a whoop band? Galen says, what about that goofy Louisiana judge that granted full custody to the bad dad based on lies? You're talking about the woman who's 16 in Ponchatoula or Amy? It was this 2 weeks ago, the story. Randy Haddad says hello. Oh, you're at the side door.
I was, yeah. Didn't know it was unlocked. I decided to just check it.
What was I going to say? No, was there a custody battle with the dad, with Anthony and the dad, or no? I think that's what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. No, the Louisiana judge who sent the officer to Texas, yeah.
Byron says grandpa.
Yeah, well, Troy finishes that sentence.
Yeah. That is not on the board. Sorry.
Jason says to clean up the spinach and popcorn.
That's the number 1 answer, Jason.
I was going to say to go to sleep.
To clean them.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep is number 2.
All right. I got you now, Eric. I see where y'all were at. Shit.
I need to watch this documentary. I haven't watched it yet.
All right. So we're talking about Shell's birthday, right?
Yep, 5 years. Coming up on the 21st of August. It's going to be a blast. Done. There you go.
Awesome.
Were you coaching football yesterday?
No.
At Mercy? Okay, there's a guy who looks a lot like you at Mercy.
No, I coach girls basketball.
He was a little shorter than you, and we were tight. Somebody said, I think that's Brian Haldane. I said, I don't think so, but it does look like him. So.
Wonder who that is.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I got a 14-year-old daughter, a 10-year-old daughter, and a 6-year-old son.
Okay.
So.
Didn't think so, but I was like, oh, I'll see him tomorrow. I'll find out.
5 years from now, maybe. My son's in college right now. Yeah, who was it the other day telling me, not Randy, somebody else was telling me to tell you hi as we were talking about Mercy. You're at Mercy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You done acts yet?
What's that?
Have you done acts yet?
No, but I'm going to this year.
Sign up today.
Sign up today, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised who's directing the next retreat.
Ah, all right. Done and done.
Yep. Yeah. To eat pudding. Not on the board. Grandpa's never on the board. Friday's going to look a lot like Thursday. Stacking up your forecast here is WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo. All right. I would say the other answer would be they hurt. Yeah, that's the last. Yeah. Bought the wish.com ones and. .738 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, completely shifting gears here, lightening up a whole bunch. Time to welcome in Jimmy Frederick from the Knock Knock Museum. Welcome back, man. How are you?
Thanks. Doing great. Thanks so much for having me, Brian. Really appreciate it.
No, glad to have you on. I always enjoy having y'all on because, well, it's one of my kids' favorite places. So,
well, we appreciate that. We hope it's a lot of kids' favorite place.
Absolutely. Y'all got a birthday coming up.
We do. It's our 5th birthday. It's hard to believe. Knock Knock has only been open for 5 years.
Really?
And really only been open for 3.5 because we were closed for a year and a half.
I know.
So we are celebrating our big 5th birthday. We're turning 5 on Sunday, the 21st of August. So just a week, a little more than a week away.
Okay.
And of course, all day on Sunday, 11 to 4.
11 to 4 on Sunday for the 5th birthday, which is really the 3.5 birthday.
Really, it is.
So how's things been over there?
They've been really good. This summer has been really strong. We're back to where we were in 2019. We were doing so well in 2019, and of course, everybody knows what happens. But we've had great numbers. People are coming back. We're getting ready to have much better. We expect field trips to come back. Our spring field trips were strong. We didn't have any field trips really in the fall of last year, so that's a big deal because when all the kids go back to school, we kind of only see everybody on the weekends, but we have great programs all week long.
Which is to be expected. It scales back to the weekends. So field trips. Let's talk a little bit about that because that should be coming back in a big way this year because up until now, the return to school has been about the return to school.
Right. Absolutely.
Now getting out and that experience, learning experiences are going to change a little bit. How many kids do y'all take in or project to take in via field trips?
Well, lots and lots. I mean, we expect some days we'll have upwards of 200 kids a day in 2 different time slots. So we'll do field trips on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays for the older kids from kindergarten to 3rd grade. And then on Wednesdays, we kind of reserve that. We do reserve that for the younger kids. So we don't have a mixture of a lot of older children running through the younger kids. So and it really kind of splits things up. But we hope to have schools, and we do have schools from Point Capee, St. Helena, East and West Baton Rouge Parish, Ascension, Livingston. In fact, we had a field trip just a little while ago, right at the end of school, all the way from Mandeville. So we'll hope we get some Lafayettes. We're going to do it all from all over the southeast part of Louisiana.
Very cool stuff. Now, when they come on the field trip, and I know we're going to talk about the birthday bash coming up in a little bit.
Talk about anything you want,
so when it comes to the field trip, is it like a set program?
No, it's just like being at the museum. Now, we have a little program to get everybody acclimated to what Knock Knock is and to tell everybody what we have and how they can experience it. But other than that, it's playing with a purpose in 18 learning zones without having rules and regulations. And you can only go here and don't touch this and don't do that. It's all about using your imagination. Get in there, play, do things you've never done before. Go change the tire and go Garage's car. Do all those things. Of course, we have all our art programs. Our maker shop is in full swing. So there's nothing different when we have a field trip. It's just a group of children from a school instead of from all over the place.
All right, let's get back to the birthday for just a second. What's going to go on?
Man, we have got all kinds of things. We're really celebrating the power of 5. It is $15 for non-members, $5 for members. But with that ticket price, you're going to be getting treats from City Gelato. You're going to be getting treats from Eloise Bakery, Small Cakes of Baton Rouge, all kinds of different. So we have 5 different treats that everybody will be able to experience. We've got Gym Fit with their Ninja Obstacle Course. They're going to have some acrobats inside the museum. We have Chris LeBlanc is going to be playing.
Saw that.
And Ziggy and his pals from Ziggy's Art Adventure, the LPB show that has really taken off. Cleopatra is going to be bringing his pals from Ziggy and Ziggy's Art Adventure. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Hadn't seen Clay in a good minute. He used to be on with Jay Ducote a lot.
Yeah,
so.
and it's going to be a
very talented guy.
Very talented. Face painting. You can paint your own face, which to me seems very difficult. But we also have Airbrush Me that's going to be painting faces as well. We've got 5 other big activities throughout the museum. And the mayor's going to come. We're going to be singing Happy Birthday around noon. But the main thing is we want to celebrate not the museum so much as it is the folks that benefit from the museum, and that's our children here in the Capital Region.
Absolutely. So the normal drive up Dalrymple when you see Knock Knock Museum is going to be the yard is going to be full, to be sure.
I think so. Yes, it is. And we would like for people to pre-register. They can do that at knockknockmuseum.org. And again, it's $15 for non-members and $5 for members.
And pre-registration is required for Sunday, August 21st. But $5 for members, 15 for non-members. With that much going on out there, is parking going to be just like it would be on any other day?
We expect it to be. We have good parking. We have plans to shuttle people back and forth if we need to, but I think we're going to be just fine on parking. And the best thing is that it's from 11 to 4, so you can come and go as you please. It's not like a set program. We just want you to come, have fun, celebrate with us, and let's eat a little birthday cake.
Absolutely. Birthday cake's always a good thing on a weekend. We get Jimmy Frederick from the Knock Knock Museum, and as y'all have gotten back into business and all the, ever since the COVID shutdown, what was the return to work like? What was the return to kids coming back in like? It was staggered at the beginning, but moving forward, like what has that process, that path been like?
Well, it's been just that, a process, and I know think it's been that way for everybody. For us, we were very concerned, as we always are, about cleanliness and safety. When we first started, it was 2-hour time sessions. We took an hour off, so we only had, I say an hour off. We were cleaning in between, switching out all the pieces and parts, the tiny parts that the kids touch. All that was coming in and out. That has eased some, but we're still cleaning, just like everybody else, a lot. We're switching out parts, but we're back to normal operation. You come in, it used to be before COVID, you could come and go as you please. When you paid your ticket price, you could come in the morning, go to lunch, and then come back in the afternoon. Well, you can still do that now. So we're back to normal operation. We're back to normal hours. The only day we're closed is on Mondays. We've got to do that just to kind of get everything reset.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're back to full swing, and we're excited.
What are 18 different stations, exhibits? What are the more popular ones? For those that have not been to Knock Knock yet.
If you haven't been to Knock Knock, I think our Go-Go Garage is one of our most popular. That's really the first exhibit you go into, and there's a giant car there where you can literally take the wheels off, change the lug nuts, check the oil, put gas in the car. Art Garden is always great because you just get to have fun and paint on easels, just like a real artist, or maybe there's clay, or it just depends on what day it is. What's interesting to me is the grocery store is so popular, and that is our Pelican Pantry.
Okay, so the grocery store is popular at darn near every children's museum anywhere.
Yeah, it is.
I said we were in Pensacola over the summer, and it was an absolute, it was a nightmare. There was not a single item on a shelf. Everything was on the floor. It was a nightmare.
Well, the difference there in Pensacola and us is it's always on the shelf at Knock Knock.
Exactly. My son's favorite is the boat.
I think the boat is cool, too. And if you haven't seen the tugboat, it's ship shape, and you can actually pilot a tugboat down the Mississippi and steer it. We have a captain narrator who is telling you what you're seeing, State Capitol or Tiger Stadium or whatever. It's really cool.
Yeah, the video, as it's cruising down the river, you can turn and get a better view of the Capitol. I'm pretty sure my 6-year-old wants to run aground in front of the Capitol because he tries to steer right into it every single time. And this one, okay, so what's amazing to me is y'all have been there 5 years, which it feels like simultaneously feels like you've been there forever and been there for a day.
Right.
Like you still feel brand new, but at the same time, I really can't remember Baton Rouge before, Knock Knock feels like it's just, you very quickly become a staple. But as many times as we've gone there, I get amazed when I find something new each time. And the most recent one was on the boat, which we walk into that little boat every single time. But the Pelican on top of the boat, I didn't know you could make it move.
That's right. You crank the pedals kind of, and you're making our Pelican flap a little bit. But you make a good point. As adults, we say, okay, we've seen everything. We don't need to go back.
Right.
That's not how children think. They may not get past Go-Go Garage for the one time they go. Right. And the next time they find something totally different, or they find something totally different in the same place they visited. And I think that's important for us as adults to think about. Now, we are working on our 5 and 7 year plan to kind of change some exhibits around. It's about that time for us to start refreshing things. And not refreshing, but just adding and changing. But that's a process that we're working on.
So that was actually my next question was where do we go from here? Because, it is great, but there will be a day where – but at the same time, though, the kids age out and new ones are coming in.
Exactly. It's
I'm not taking my 14-year-old over there anymore for sure. So what's that balance like of wanting to project new exhibits, new stations and the like versus well, we don't want to get rid of something because there's going to be a brand new 3-year-old or 4-year-old coming in for the first time.
100%. And we have ideas for having traveling exhibits, things that we'll have to build out a little bit more. But there are going to be some subtle changes and maybe some major changes. We're not exactly completely sure exactly what's going to happen, but we've got a good team that's working on that, and we do think about that all the time. But you make a great point again about new children coming in and children just aging out, because Knock Knock is for 0 to 8, maybe 0 to 9. After that, it's just it's out of your realm of fun.
Yeah,
when you're that old.
Yeah, and it is. Get back to August 21st for just a second. One of the things you mentioned, the ninja obstacle course outside,
We
which
expect you to be there.
does sound fun. But you said acrobats inside. You said inside?
Inside, yeah.
What's that going to look like?
It's going to look like they have these acrobats, children or young adults, that are going to be suspended and doing twirls and things on the silk, and maybe even the big rings that they use to do different shows and things like that with. So it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting. It's not something that visitors are going to be able to do, but it's going to be something very visual that people are going to want to see.
August 21st is the date. You do have to RSVP. $15 for non-members, $5 for members. I assume just go to your website.
That's it. Knockknockmuseum.org. So.
Knockknockmuseum.org for the birthday. Knock Knock is turning 5 years old. Yeah, just experiencing something new every time is amazing. It's the first time my kid climbed the books.
I love it. Lucky climber.
Yeah, I mean, he'll go in that little. So he'll do the boat. He'll do the little the magnets and whatever, the puzzle pieces and all that. And he's a little nerd, so he climbs the books and just could not be more proud of himself.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a great experience every single time. 5th birthday coming up August 21st. Jimmy, I always appreciate the time, man.
Thanks, my friend. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We got a break for your money now. We'll check traffic. When we come back from that check of traffic, got the outside in, stepping outside of East Baton Rouge Parish next. That was, the last time we were there, he swore up and down that if he cranked that thing fast enough, he can make the Pelican fly.
I love it.
He's like, no, you just got to go better. You got to go faster.
Come on.
And like, I can't do it, Dad. You got to do it. And I'm like, dude, the Pelican is affixed to the top of the boat. He is not taking flight. I don't care how.
Although that could be something we need to work on.
I mean, maybe.
Right across the room.
Yeah, that's even if it's like on a string or something. So, yeah, it's no, thank you. Always. And yeah, hop on Mercy's site. Yeah, good deal.
It's gonna be early.
Yeah, it was the weekend of the SEC championship game last year. So, yeah, all good. You too. I've got to get this thing tightened. I've got the limp mic thing going on. No good. All right, what's the next Family Feud question?
Oh.
Let's get one more in.
Next Family Feud question. All right, here's the next Family Feud question. What one thing in your house gets used more than anything else?
All right, we'll give YouTube a minute to answer.
You got to read between the lines.
I want to know why it smelled like smoke on the third floor. I'm like legit concerned. So, where have I gotten my Zealand Street yet? I'm gonna do it here so it's not in the same hour as Rocco. I don't think that's fair to. Rocco's making cheesesteaks today. The beef's already prepared and chopped and whatnot, so it's gonna be a little different. He is. I need to go. I need to go find a headset so he can move around and talk. I'll do that. I'll do that during the top of the hour. Oh. That's the vibe right there. Rest of the day. That's the vibe right there. $7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks to Jimmy Frederick from Knock Knock Museum, Birthday Bash, coming up August 21st. Thanks to attorney Jarrett Ambeau for talking a little bit about I Just Killed My Dad. If you hadn't seen it yet, I recommend checking it out on Netflix. We've talked about it all week long. It dropped on Tuesday. We've talked about it all week long in that these true crime documentaries, they hit different when they're in your backyard. They absolutely do. It's a completely different perspective when you see the B-roll footage, which, by the way, made downtown look way bigger than it is. I'm like, what major city is this? That courtyard ain't that big. Anyway, I appreciate both of them for their time. Got a busy hour next hour as well. We got Corey Rholdon from WBRZ checking in with us at 8:15 to talk about Saints. First preseason game is tomorrow night. You'll hear it on Eagle 98.1. We'll talk with Corey about how the Saints are stacking up in our next hour. Also, we're eating good today, Alondra. Rocco's going to be in. Talking with Rocco. We're making cheesesteaks. Tell you what, it's going to be a tough day for me. I got a cheesesteak for breakfast, basically, and then going to Zealand Street Market for lunch.
It's going to be entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. It is. Rocco, every time he's in, is entertaining. But hitting up Zealand Street Market for lunch as well. Look, I know Foodie Friday is presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, but it's all about the smothered chicken today. Over at Zealand Street Market in the Garden District on Perkins Road, the Garden District side of the overpass on Perkins Road, right there next to Varsity Sports, corner of Perkins and Zealand Street. Have yourself a little bit of love for lunch today. Oh, just the way that Miss Stephanie does it over there is it is the best around. Been doing it for more than 30 years. Get yourself a home-cooked meal over at Zealand Street Market. Time for the outside in. Let's get it.
It's time to step outside of East Baton Rouge and get inside our surrounding parishes.
About time for me to be hitting the old dusty trail.
The Outside In, presented by BRPT Lake. With 6 locations and extended hours to fit your needs, BRPT Lake has got you covered. Schedule online now at brptlake.com. The Outside In is coming your way now.
Get out of this town. Nowhere. Where are we going to go?
We're going to start off in Livingston Parish. It's a short trip today. Livingston Parish, a man was arrested Thursday after allegedly killing a motorcyclist in a hit-and-run crash last week. State police said the crash happened Friday, August 5th, shortly after 11:30 p.m. on Highway 1019 east of Highway 16 in Denham Springs. It ultimately claimed the life of 26-year-old Kyle Roland. 23-year-old Kyle Mano was traveling, was in a pickup truck that hit the motorcyclist. Mano was arrested, booked into Livingston Parish Jail on charges of hit and run, obstruction of justice, negligent injuring, and improper lane usage. Next stop, St. Tammany Parish. Family member who gave a 15-year-old fentanyl pills disguised as prescription painkillers is facing charges in the teen's overdose death. The dealer who sold the counterfeit pills was also arrested. St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office said the juvenile was found at a home in Bush on July 12th, suffering from what family members believe was an opiate overdose. Emergency responders were unable to revive the teen. Deputies learned a family member of the teenager, 41-year-old Felicia Grantham, purchased those pills earlier in the day from 20-year-old Alvin Laurent. Both of them have been arrested. Closing out in Evangeline Parish, Ville Platte Police Chief Neil Lartigue has been barred from running for re-election on the November 8th ballot after the Louisiana 3rd Circuit Court of Appeal ruled he lives outside the city limits. That's the Outside In. Here's CBS News. I ran long, didn't I? Interesting. All right. Guys, I got to run upstairs real quick. Give me that Family Feud question again. I'll throw my answers out real quick.
What one thing in your house gets used more than anything else?
Toilet.
That's number 2.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Troy says not grandma's false teeth glass. That's for damn sure.
That's a good one, Troy.
Wayne. Good answer, Wayne.
What did Wayne say?
Wayne says, sadly, it's the air conditioner lately. Debbie says TV. Renee says toilet.
TV was the number 1 answer.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
What? Have one down here?
What? I don't know. Cade had one. And then remember I went to go get it?
Put your camera on.
Okay. Putting my camera on. Oh my God. Look a mess. Byron, bottle opener, that's a good one. Not on the board though. Number 1 answer, TV. Number 2, bathroom/toilet. 3, kitchen/fridge. 4 is telephone. 5, bed. Coffee pot, microwave, and washing machine. Do y'all want one more question? I'll give y'all one more. Excuse me. Name something you eat that comes on a stick. There you go. Corn dog was the number one answer, Renee. Chicken on a stick is not on there, Wayne. I gave them another one. You left. I had to do something. Lollipop.
What?
Not on the board.
What was the
Popsicle is,
question?
though. Oh, name something you eat that comes on a stick. No. Corn dog's number one. Ice cream is number two. Melanie, good job. I would assume so.
Who? Oh. Thank you. You were able to run him down? Yeah. Okay. I appreciate it. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming. It's a good time. Did you call Amber? I didn't talk to her afterwards yesterday.
No, is she trying to sell us something? I kind of want you as a salesperson. I don't.
I got you. Oh. Time to get a look at your forecast. Here's WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo. I'm with you. I got you. Yes, yes.
So I don't know if she's trying to sell us partners one, or if she actually wants to talk.
I think she wants to advertise and use Partners One to pay for it.
That's great.
Yeah.
He will. What are we doing?
We play Family Feud on Fridays with the YouTube audience. What? Wrong answer. Don't accept it. I'll hit her up today. I'll tell you about it later. It's a long story. 8:06. Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 3 in mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Alondra producing. Looking forward to this all morning long, y'all. We are less than half an hour away from what is this chair short? Am I shorter?
Yeah, you sunk a little bit.
Rocco's
no, that's the
gonna
right
be-
chair.
Well, I'm moving him out of the way because I'm getting ready. Wow, now I'm super tall. Look at me. I'm a big boy. Getting the studio ready. I'm moving chairs around because I'm getting the studio ready for Foodie Friday a little bit later on, presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Rocco, Mr. Troy Moreau from Rocco's New Orleans Style Po' Boy is going to be in studio today. We are, I believe, making cheesesteaks. We'll be having cheesesteaks in just a little bit. Presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. They bring you Foodie Friday every single Friday. All right. Hour 3 starts with, before we get to Rocco, we're going to check in on the New Orleans Saints. They're going to be there in Houston, Texas to take on the Houston Texans. That preseason game coming your way tomorrow night on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. WBRC's Corey Rholdon going to join us in our next segment. But before we get to any of that, Alondra takes us back in time for this day in history.
Marty, you've got to come back with me. Where? A long, long time ago. Who's coming with me?
You have to go back, Kate. We have to go back.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's staying history.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah,
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday.
Yes to all the things.
Did we miss me?
Very much so. I mean, you were
Do we like me more than we like Cade?
Absolutely.
100%.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. We didn't have a chance to miss you because in between traffic reports, you'd be
Yeah,
sitting
but
right
it's
by-
different.
All good.
It's different. I'd actually come in here between the traffic reports because it's freezing cold in that ESPN studio.
Isn't it, though?
It's terrible.
Nuts.
Okay, I'm going to start today off in the year 3. Yeah. In the year 3, Venus and Jupiter are in conjunction, aka the Star of Bethlehem.
Really?
It's on this day in year 3.
Okay.
Also on this day, I'm going to fast way forward to 1492. Christopher Columbus arrives in the Canary Islands on his first voyage to the New World.
Good for him. Good to get.
He did something
time.
right.
His first thing he said when he got off the boat, we made a good time.
Thought that was going to take way longer.
Did it
Not a
faster
lot of
than
traffic.
any of y'all.
Not a lot of traffic in the ocean. In 1869,
I'm gonna call y'all Indians. Are we in India?
I'm gonna
No.
call y'all,
I'm gonna call y'all Indians
You're
anyway. I don't care.
I don't care. I meant to go to India, so y'all are
Can you
Indians.
imagine if he knew where he landed? Would we call Native Americans Canaries?
Canarians?
Yeah. Or just Canaries.
Yeah. All right. In 1869, self-proclaimed Emperor Joshua Abraham Norton of the USA issues edict abolishing the Democratic and Republican parties.
Love that.
This is just hilarious. Like, this guy had, like, delusions of grandeur or something.
Mm-hmm.
He proclaimed himself the Emperor of the United States.
Love it.
And then abolished the Democratic and Republican parties. Didn't really work out for him.
No.
Like, at all, actually. In 1877, Thomas Edison completes the first model for the phonograph, a device that recorded sound onto tinfoil cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was the record? What was on there?
I don't know. In 1877, what was out?
Joy the Silence?
Yeah. Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
In 1908, Henry Ford's company builds the first Model T car.
I like it.
In 1920, the Battle of Warsaw between Poland and Russia begins. Also on this day in 1938, Hitler institutes the Mother's Cross to encourage German women to have more children. They'd be awarded each year on August 12th, Hitler's mother's birthday. Freud would have a day with that.
Yes.
I want to know Freud's thoughts on that.
I very much don't.
In
You can give me the report afterwards.
In 1939, The Wizard of Oz premieres on this day.
Wow.
Literally my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Man, when I was a kid, I had that movie on repeat. We're off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like Judy Garland right there. In 1955, U.S. President Eisenhower raises minimum wage from 75 cents to $1 an hour.
See?
All right, tomorrow the New Orleans Saints have their first preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
On this day in 1967, the New Orleans Saints had their first preseason victory. They beat St. Louis 23-14.
Very nicely done. Way to go, Who-Dats.
In 1974, the Yankees' Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford become the first teammates inducted into the Hall of Fame on the same day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, on this day, you got 1961?
No.
On this day in 1961, East Germany began construction of the Berlin Wall.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that.
Yeah. Which, if you really think about that, put that in perspective.
Yeah.
That means the Wizard of Oz is 22 years older than the Berlin Wall.
Interesting.
Right?
When you put it that way.
Weird.
Yeah. All right. On this day in 1990, fossil hunter Susan Hendrickson discovers 3 huge bones jutting out of a cliff near Faith, South Dakota. They turned out to be part of the largest ever Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton ever discovered.
Very nice.
It was 65 million years old, and they called it Sue after Susan.
Okay.
In 1991, heavy metal band Metallica releases their 5th album, Metallica. It debuted at #1 on Billboard 200 charts. It's also known as the Black Album.
Darn right it is.
In 1992, Canada...
Possibly still the best one ever.
It's Metallica's best album,
But
to
like
me.
of all...
Of
the
all metal bands?
Yep.
That's interesting. 1992, Canada, Mexico, and the United States announced completion of negotiations for NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. And this day, in 2021, Britney, we hashtag free Britney.
No way.
Yeah.
All right. Also, this day in 2021 was the first Field of Dreams game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right. In 1886, Sir Keith Murdoch was born on this day, the father of Rupert Murdoch.
Okay.
In 1887, Erwin Schrödinger, Schrödinger's cat, he was born on this day. In 1930, George Soros. Yeah. 1947, Sam Rosen. 1963, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
No way.
Baby Got Back.
All right.
In 1971, Pete Sampras.
Yep.
75, Casey Affleck.
Really?
And yeah.
I'm older than Casey Affleck?
You are?
No. Casey Affleck's older than me. That's
Wait, when were you born?
76.
A year.
Casey Affleck is older than me. That's just weird.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy.
Yeah.
In 1988, happy birthday to my favorite boxer, Tyson Fury.
Really?
Yeah. You could change your life around at any moment, says Tyson Fury. Died on this day, Cleopatra.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
Born on this day in 1881 was Cecil B. DeMille. Yeah. And this day in 1977, Plaxico Burress.
Cool.
Yeah. You have no idea who either of those people are.
I do not.
It's all good.
In 30 BC, Cleopatra killed herself. Allegedly made a cobra bite her. In 1827, William Blake.
Made a cobra bite her?
Like she got a cobra and it bit her.
Like to prove a point?
She killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to die, so she made a cobra bite her.
Okay.
You know, she was being...
Suicide by cobra.
She was being a little dramatic with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted word to get back to Caesar. And Mark... Who was it? Caesar and Mark Antony that she was... Yeah.
I didn't... Okay.
She was hooking up with them. In 1827, William Blake. In 1982, Henry Fonda. In 1988, John Michael. Man, I just looked up the pronunciation and I don't remember it.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
He's an artist. John Michael
Biscuit.
I
don't know.
And in 2009, Les Paul died on this day. And yes, I forgot the national day. So if you want to hit me up with that.
I don't.
No, we don't have one? You don't have one? You always have it.
I have one.
No, I have one.
No.
Don't worry. I got it. Just give me like literally 2 seconds and I'll get you a national day.
National Vinyl Record Day.
Oh, because of the phonograph.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also shop online for groceries day.
Do you have any?
Child Day.
Why are you excited about that? Hell, don't need a day.
Give it to Abby too.
Yeah, we'll let her know when she gets home.
Day, Abby.
Or maybe we won't.
You probably won't. You won't.
How do you celebrate Middle Child Day?
By completely forgetting about it. That's how. All right, that's this day in history.
Now let's break, come back, talk New Orleans Saints next. Corey Rholdon's going to be on the hotline. .818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Preseason football is here. Got a little taste last night. We got a little bit with the Hall of Fame game last week, but a little taste last night with the Ravens doing what the Ravens do, winning preseason games, and the Giants pulling out a win as well. The New Orleans Saints will be in action as of tomorrow night. Joining us now to talk about this is WBRZ's Corey Rholdon. Corey, welcome back, man. How are you?
Doing well. It's been a good morning so far. Excited to see the black and gold strap it up tomorrow night in Houston.
Are you already there?
I am not going to the game. I actually have to anchor tomorrow night, but it's going to be interesting to see because I'm going to go ahead and get the news out. Jameis Winston is not playing, and I don't think Michael Thomas will play, but there's a lot of position battles I'm interested to see, especially at left tackle and at a running back, who's going to be the guy who really, can step up if Alvin Kamara will get suspended. There's kind of a bunch of guys bundled up there in Tony Jones Jr., Abram Smith, and then Dwayne Washington.
The running back battle is going to be one to follow for sure. Give me those names again and give me your impressions of each of them.
Well, you got Abram Smith, who is the undrafted rookie out of Baylor. Everybody kind of thought going into draft he would get drafted because he was an all Big 12 performer. He had 1,600 rushing yards. He's really more of a power back, and I think he fits well next to Kamara. And the Saints have a history of getting good undrafted running backs like Pierre Thomas, Chris Ivory. Then there's Tony Jones Jr., last season's preseason star, kind of had fumbling issues and injury issues. Then there's Dwayne Washington, the guy who's been there for a long time. Mark Ingram, how much longer does he have left in the tank? I think he makes the team, and he kind of fills in there, but they still need multiple guys. So they're all just kind of, bunched up right there. The Saints just cut Malcolm Brown, too, who they picked up from the Rams and made it, I guess, like a week in practice before letting him go. But it was just a bunch of guys just kind of bunched up right there.
Yeah, you mentioned Smith as being a power back, looking to fill the shoes of Alvin Kamara when he is one day suspended. You need a guy who can catch the ball. Which of those running backs is best at catching the ball?
Tony Jones Jr. He showed the ability that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Last season and preseason, he was really good at that. And for Kamara, to go back on Kamara a little bit, I don't know if he gets suspended this year just because of the whole trial process. And the NFL likes to wait and see how everything takes out in the court. And it seems like Kamara's team is just going to try to keep pushing it. So he will face the suspension probably next year is my guess. Okay.
I mean, that's quite the time away, or will be quite the time removed from the actual incident. How much with what's going on with Deshaun Watson is Kamara's camp looking at as like a comparable? Like, we can't see what's going to happen to Kamara until we know what happens to Deshaun.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think they keep pushing this thing back, right? The original trial was supposed to be in March, then it was going to be, I believe, in May, then in August. Now it's in October. But, if the NFL's trying to get Deshaun Watson the whole season, and that's kind of how they're appealing it right now. He's getting 6 games, as the judge put it. Kamara's like, if he gets 6 games, 3, 2? They're certainly going to be looking at that situation of kind of how Deshaun Watson's situation plays out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the two side by side, they both present very different scenarios. Kamara is more of violence. Deshaun Watson is more of a long-term pattern, to be sure. So it's like a one-off incident versus, a behavioral thing. It's interesting to watch them both side by side. And we hear so much about Deshaun Watson, and I'm hearing very little about Kamara's story from an ESPN, like a national perspective.
Oh yeah, they've been trying to keep that very, very quiet. And it's kind of weird to hear when it came out because Kamara is such kind of a chill guy You really don't see him making a lot of headlines, and that's why it caught the Saints by surprise. But like you said, two totally different situations. Kamara's a one-time incident, and Deshaun Watson, I mean, 30 different cases, I think it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of them either negotiated down, found a plea or whatever, or made a settlement. But that's what was on the table. All right, we got Corey Rholdon, WBRZ's Corey Rholdon, covering the Saints for us this morning. Corey, you said Michael Thomas likely won't be playing tomorrow night. Not a surprise, though a disappointment, because the Who Dat Nation has been chomping at the bit to get to see him in action for 2 years now. But what does that leave for us to watch at wide receiver?
Oh, well, first of all, Michael Thomas has looked really good in camp. He's looked like his all-pro self, that big physical receiver. He's getting in and out of his breaks. He's looking really sharp. And the Saints fans, in terms of receivers, you get to see Jarvis Landry out there and Chris Olave, two really good players that are going to be a huge part of this offense. Olave has looked really good. Jameis Winston has compared him to Chris Godwin as a rookie. And also, it's going to be interesting who makes the team at the end of that receiving corps, because you have a last year's big three in Callaway, Deontay Hardy, and then Traquan Smith. And then you got Kurt Merritt coming in playing really well. It's going to be interesting to see if they, maybe cut a Traquan Smith to keep a Kurt Merritt. So, the receiver position is also one to look out for on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's interesting, on the Saints official website, on NewOrleansSaints.com, on their depth chart, they've got Traquan running ahead of Olave on the depth chart. I'm sure that's just in writing and not in reality.
No, yeah, Chris Olave is the real deal. He's going to be starting week one. He has been really good, making incredible catches. And, the players kind of say he's a little bit more mature for his age.
Yeah, he's been cool to follow up until now, or so far to start the season, and we haven't even seen him in action yet. I mean, you've been out there to the practices and whatnot, but the hype surrounding him. I mean, DraftKings actually has pretty decent odds that they're promoting it on Olave taking home Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, we haven't gotten a preseason yet, and they're already pushing outstanding Olave on the DraftKings app. So he's going to be a fun one to watch. Let's move to the quarterback spot. Jameis a little dinged up. Is that concerning because he's coming off of an injury, or is that just a matter of if this were any other time, he'd be out there, but because it's preseason, he won't be?
Yeah, why take the risk? If, I think he could play this week if there's a regular season game, but why take the risk in a preseason game when he's still dealing with recovering from his ACL and MCL surgery, plus you got a foot injury? So just take the time off, get some rest. Maybe he does a little bit next week when they practice in Green Bay with the Packers for the week, but I think the Saints really take it safe here in the next couple of weeks with Jameis.
Another position that I've had my eye on is tight end. It's going to be an interesting year this year because now Taysom is fully listed as a tight end, although I'm sure he'll move her all over the field like he normally does. But this has got to be a make or break year from Adam Troutman.
No, Adam Troutman's had a really good camp so far. He's looked really good. Taysom Hill, you mentioned, they actually listed the Troutman and Taysom as tight end one. Taysom's looked good. He's gotten in and out of his routes. He obviously, the Saints are going to continue to use him in a lot of different ways. Dennis Allen saying that he's going to continue to use him sometimes in goal line situations at quarterback. They're going to use him with special teams. Troutman's look good. And then you got Jawan Johnson, who's going to be a big target on goal line situations. We saw last year, the first couple of weeks of the season, he had a lot of touchdowns, kind of using his big frame to go up and get footballs, but then he had injury problems and kind of fiddled out at the end of the year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. And then you got Nick Barrett, who's kind of came on at the end of last year, played for the Broncos, has some experience in this league. So his 4 guys right there. I think there's 3 spots for them now.
I'm glad you brought up Jawan Johnson because he was one of my favorites during last season, partly because he was such a surprise on the field, but also partly because he's a lot of fun on TikTok. But
he is.
Glad to see he's back in the mix, along with Troutman and Taysom Hill. All right, last thing before I get you out of here. This is the week where they'll go to Houston and then practice all week in Green Bay. What's that like from a team perspective to be to be away from home for that long outside, before the season gets rolling?
Well, you stop practicing against yourself every day. You're not fighting with your teammates on the field. You're actually competing against another team. It's really good competition. You get away from the same routine. It's going to refresher a little bit. And, I think this is the time you're going to see the most growth of a lot of these players. You're going to be one-on-one against, different schemes. The Packers are going to be scheming against the Saints. The Saints are going to be scheming against the Packers. And the whole week, it's really going to be, full competition from both teams. And the Saints defense are going to be able to go against Aaron Rodgers every day. And I really like that the Saints continue to do this each and every year. Normally, when Sean Payton was here, it was either with the Chargers or the Texans, and now it's cool to see with the Green Bay Packers.
Over under on Trevor Penning's unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, 2.5. You taking the over?
I think the Saints are going to try to tamper him a little bit. I'm actually going to take the under. So, yeah, Trevor Penning's got that dog in him. He had a really good quote yesterday. If the guy across from you doesn't hate you, you're not doing your job. But, Trevor Penning's been really interesting to watch. But I think Dennis Allen is going to get him under control. But, look, we can't have multiple unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Because remember, if you get multiple, trash talking unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, you get kicked out the game.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping he gets it out of his system in the preseason, if he's got to get it out of the system at all. In the meanwhile, we'll be following the coverage over at WBRZ. Corey Rholdon, we always appreciate the time, man. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Talk to you all soon, too.
Yep, here comes CBS News on Talk 107.3 FM. Oh, no, I'm going off my clock. I got out.
That's your official Rocco nickname. Alejandro.
What's going on, brother? I got you a headset today so you can move around and be on mic the whole time. You go the 12-ouncer? The 12-ouncer today?
Back on the ball. How about this?
I had my 8.4 ounce this morning.
Words like violence, break the silence.
Don't you? It's,
things come crashing in.
that's the vibe.
My little world, painful to me, pierce right through you. Can't you
wait, are those the
understand?
words?
Oh, my little girl, all I ever wanted. I used to, I've seen Depeche Mode. Man, look. What about this one?
You're playing the air guitar for a keyboard.
2:00 in the morning the other night, I wake up.
Uh-huh.
I'm in my Barca lounge, passed out.
Uh-huh.
ESPN 2's on.
Yeah.
National Air Guitar Championships.
On ESPN 2.
It's a thing.
Oh.
It's a thing.
I was like, this was on ESPN.
You gotta be kidding.
Put your headset on.
You gotta be kidding.
Wait, I'm sorry. You're going to have to roll back to put that headset on. Don't put the headset on yet. But that's your microphone. That's your microphone today. Once we're back in segment.
Do you want me to put it on, or do you don't want me to put it on?
I do want you to put it on.
To put it on, or don't put it on?
Put it on.
Put it on?
Can you flip our mics
Put it on
over?
now, or put it on later?
Roll back to to program 2.
When we going live, let's go. Come on. We got a lot of things to do today.
Wait, what?
Jacked up on the bull.
Which one feeds social? Which one? 4? Put our rollback on 4 so we can just keep headsets on the whole time. All right, now put it on. We got it now.
Blame it on the rain, which has been falling.
Bruh, it has been nonstop. Well, fortunately, it's stopped every day. It's been every day. So.
I want to say it was the wettest month
ever in the history of them recording rainfall.
Really? What, August of 2016?
Excuse me for chomping, but
it's all good.
Tasting a pickle there. Mighty pickly.
A pickle on a cheesesteak.
Little tart.
We're going to have to get down with that.
What time are we going on? Come on, let's go.
We got 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left.
Who was that?
Do what?
What movie was that?
I'm guessing Jaws.
There you go. She probably don't know because she didn't grow up.
No,
no. And by the way, I've just christened her with our official Rocco nickname, Alejandra.
As opposed to Alondra.
Yeah.
I mean, it just sounds so more authentic coming from me when I say it like that.
No, yeah, because
there's passion. The Spaniards are very passionate people.
Right, and if you want the true passion of Mexican descent, you go to Chalmette.
That's right. That's right. Because we did have a large population in the St. Elmo's. There's like a down the road, further down as you go towards Hopedale and stuff. There's a big plantation down there. These Llanos. You never heard of those?
No.
So they came over with initial trappers and all that stuff that settled in the area of St. Bernard, which became Chalmette and everything else. So go check it out. Bring your kids.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Doesn't cost anything.
I'll do that.
Just show up.
I'll just
hey,
show
how
up.
y'all doing? I'm here.
Yeah.
I want to see what y'all got.
We got the Jazz Land. It wasn't open, so we kept going.
I tell you, I've fallen, brother. I'm back on
the Red Bull.
It hooked me again.
I mean,
I can't do the coffee, man. The coffee goes through me like poop through a goose. I just can't do it. I mean, it's like I drink a cup and it's over with.
Coffee's too tannic for me.
I'm 50. We talk about this all the time. A little older than 50. Not saying any numbers. But the point is, as I got older, I used to eat cereal every day of my life.
Yeah.
So it's about 35.
Okay.
The cereal bowl from when I was at LSU that I ate my cereal out when I was in college.
Okay.
The old bowls from the 70s. You got the flower designs.
Yeah, you get the little like ring of flowers. Yeah, look like a bad armband tattoo. Yeah.
Go to the doctor, my stomach's bothering me. He goes, what you been eating? Milk, cereal in the morning and typical sandwich for lunch, a little ham and cheese or something.
Right.
He goes, I think you're lactose intolerant.
Saying ain't so.
So apparently, as you know, as you age, you can eat shrimp your whole life and one day go to a shrimp bowl and get hives and you'll be allergic to them the rest of your life.
Happened to my grandpa.
So,
am I lying?
No, you're not lying. I got a good story of that in reverse. We've got a good buddy of ours who was allergic to crawfish and wasn't having it. So he reversed his own course until he was able to eat crawfish.
I know who that person is. Should we say names?
Have you ever not dropped names on this show?
I'm trying to, because, the whole deal, mockery is the greatest form of flattery.
It's not mockery.
I'm making that line up. I got my own lingo.
It is.
Weather.
Hold
on.
Are we live? What are we doing?
Hold on. He's going to do weather real quick.
All right, time for us to take a look.
No.
Oh.
Go.
Time for us to take a look at the forecast, and I want to be quick about this because Rocco's in studio. It's going to rain today. 77 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge.
My boy.
I'm getting you all the time this morning. We're getting you all.
That is spot on.
I don't even know if we have a bumper.
The person was Mark Vincent.
Yes.
Yeah. See? I know my people, dude. I'm the mole.
Look,
right?
think about that. No, but think about that.
I'm a CIA operative.
We're going to talk about that later, too.
You ever see that movie?
Huh?
You ever see that movie with the guy that was from the Gong Show?
The guy was from the Gong Show.
Remember the Gong Show?
I remember the Gong Show, yeah.
So that guy alleges that he was a CIA operative. You never see, check the movie out. It's Chuck Berry, I think was his name.
Chuck Berry?
No, not the singer. Different Chuck Berry.
All right.
Okay? Used to come out, hey, Gong Show. And the
for
people would come out, they do an act, and then they would hit the gong.
Do what? Oh, we're not on? Oh, yes, on the air. Let's go. Let's go.
But what? All right.
Shorten the forecast so we can get to my guy.
So I'm gonna sub a little extra information on the weather for Brian Haldane.
It's going to rain today.
It's going to rain today.
Yeah. That's the forecast.
Today.
That's the forecast. And judging off the last month, I feel pretty strong in that.
Brother, I'm so glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here.
You know, it's always a pleasure to come in and sit in and take up my valuable time to come and spend it with you. But I digress. You know, I do want to say a couple of things. I came up with my line, mockery is the greatest form of flattery, right? Is that it?
It's
like celestial. Where's my logo? Anyway, keep going.
It's imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
So just
on
some
Celestial Radio
to people.
Yeah.
You know, I bumped in with my boy Tex, Kelly Walker.
Okay.
Bro hugged it out.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Hey man, you don't like Kelly?" I'm like, "No, man." I said, "You got to understand us."
Us.
I said, if you understood that, you would understood. But you know, salt of the earth, dude.
Yeah.
Right. And you know about salt of the earth, him and his bride. So,
yeah.
Just point of clarification, before we start to go after some other people right now that I'm having some problems with. Is your first name Theophile by any chance? Is it really Brian?
It's Brian.
Because as I'm finding out, a lot of the friends that are close to us, they go by like Chip, Trey.
I knew this was coming.
And I mean,
wait, he's not in the country.
I know,
okay.
I know, and he actually sent a text to Brad Klein and William Bradley Klein. Not just Brad Klein. His name is William Bradley.
Yeah.
Chip.
Yeah.
Kyle Roddy.
Yeah.
Klein Jr.
I didn't know this.
Okay,
you
and
brought this
they
information
with me because you know my first name is Troy. My middle name is David.
Right.
So they all been calling me Troy David.
Okay.
Which is really, I kind of like it though, because my mother used to call me that.
Okay.
Troy David.
Yeah.
So I'm okay
Rocco
with it.
was your uncle, right?
Yeah. Well, my grandfather. But anyway. And so, long story short, we start, doing our deal. But you want to cook?
No.
You ready to eat?
No.
Do you weigh in today?
I do weigh in
You
today,
look
but I mean,
skinny.
I'm feeling skinny.
You know what they say?
What?
Skinny cook, stay away from him.
Right.
Come see Rocco.
Yeah.
He eats well.
I used to when I was growing up. When I was growing up,
look at this figure. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom,
when I was growing up, my barber had a hat. I was like, I finally it clicked when I was about 16. I'm like, my barber wears a hat. There's something wrong with that right there.
Well,
it's like I don't want a skinny cook.
My barber had a hat too. He didn't wear it when he cut hair, but he had plenty of hats.
Yeah.
He had a cane.
Yeah. Cane's fine.
Extra clippers over there.
I just want to know when I'm getting my hair cut.
He had the yes man in the corner. You know, they always had that older black
guy with the
white guy. And yeah. Blah, 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 blah. He would answer something, and the yes guy would go ahead and say something, and they would go back and forth.
Yeah, we had the old guy in the corner.
Coca-Cola in a bottle. Remember the little Coke machines? You pulled one out.
Yeah. And they had the bottle opener on the machine itself. Yeah.
Well, Alejandro, you don't know what we
Not a clue. Not a clue.
But I'll be happy to tell you when we do make this po' boy, which is the Philly steak and cheese.
Yeah.
Right? We've been trying to do it. Last time we had some issues with the supply.
Mm-hmm.
This is one thing that we do not buy in-house. We do buy it from Thompson Meats, which is a big meat packer here. And so it comes in pre-sliced for us, an individual package.
Okay.
And so then we take it and we slice it a little further, kind of make it a little, we like it shaved.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be.
So if you come around,
a cheesesteak is chopped up.
Yeah, like our turkey and we try to cut it as thin as possible and like shave it,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we have here. But we do have a spin on it too, right? So we put the onions in it, but we also put bell peppers because we're in Louisiana, right? So that's our little spin on it. Gives it a little bit of different flavor. Still good stuff. 100% USDA sirloin.
Sirloin goes in.
Yes.
Okay.
And we got some provolone cheese we're going to put on it, and of course, as always, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Number one, because I'm making it.
Well, yes, that's
I am the king of po' boys.
Yes.
Self-appointed. Sire.
What the po' boy aspect of this is going to play interesting,
right?
Because it's looking like you're dressing it like the rest of the po' boys. There's a standard po' boy dress when you are at Rocco's,
correct?
And that is lettuce, tomato, mayo, and pickle.
That's right.
All right, now we're talking about putting pickle on a Philly cheesesteak.
Well, here's the thing with that. We're going to do one with We're going to do one without.
Okay.
Because up there, when you go to Philly and you go to Jersey and you go to some of the cheesesteak places, it's with whiz, without whiz. With onions, without onions. Excuse me. And so, and as you come up there and you walk up to the counter, you better know what you're getting. Because the guy's going to be like, hey, you what you want? Get out of the way. Get out of the way. And they'll throw you to the side.
Right.
So
You got to move fast.
you got to whip. So we're going to either with pickle or without pickle. And we're going to do it because honestly, when I eat this sandwich, I eat it plain with just mayo.
Yeah.
That's how I eat it.
Yeah.
And to each his own. I can throw 20,000 different spins. What was there? Something like there was 1 million different combinations that you can make a hamburger or something one time or something crazy like that.
There's probably more than that by now.
Okay.
But yeah.
So same thing with your po' boy. You can come to Rocco's. You can get dressed any way you want. And everybody's got their own. Some guy comes in, he gets butter for his oyster po' boy, butter, hot sauce, lemon.
Beautiful.
Have you ever had it?
No, but that sounds wonderful.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I just like the dressings. I mean, that's just me on like my roast beef and my ham and different, sandwiches like that. But particular stuff like this, I would go just meat and bread, and cheese.
Meat, bread,
and
cheese.
then you're popping. But, I have to tell you a story. I don't have any gloves because I think this COVID thing is kind of.
Well, the CDC said you don't need them anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of going out of the way.
Yesterday, the CDC said that. We don't have to quarantine. If I've got COVID, you don't have to quarantine. If you've got COVID, I don't have to quarantine.
So who knows really what's going on or what the actual deal is with it anyway? Because at this point, everything that they say, I don't believe anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Well, look.
I don't believe it.
Let's rewind the clock.
How many boosters you got? 6, 7, 8?
Do what?
How many boosters you got?
Oh, twice a week, man. I get boosted twice a week.
I got the first 2 shots.
Right.
Didn't get it prior to that since the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Omicron came out, got it.
Knocked you down?
Not too bad, really. It was about 3 or 4 days. It wasn't that bad. It was kind of like a flu, for me. But maybe it was because of the vaccination, Or maybe I just got a good immune system. Because if I didn't have a good immune system, I was exposed countless times, over and over again. Hey, man, go get tested. I have COVID.
Yeah.
Standing like me and you, right? Never got it. Or maybe I got it and I was asymptomatic. I don't know.
So, and that's the
Who
thing.
knows?
That's the thing. You don't know how many times you've had it. I don't know how many times I've had it.
So
I might have it right now, but I feel fine, so I'm not going to get a test.
I did wash my hands, and I did bring some hand gel, and I got some sterilizer bleach and some Lysol.
We're not using Lysol on a Philly cheese.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
No, we're good.
All right, everybody okay with that?
You talk about the change in story, and this will change as education changes, as they learn more about it. But there was a time we were told we had to wear goggles because you can get COVID through the eyes.
Well.
Like, once you're told that, people start to clock out. Wear goggles because you don't want to get COVID through your eyes.
Well, I mean, I just, I think that, preventive measures like washing your hands and being smart and doing the things you should be doing.
The things we should be doing anyway.
Taking vitamins, a multivitamin. My doctor said take vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc every day.
Right.
Okay. He goes, that's a good way to combat it.
Right.
But
that's good advice for life, not just COVID, life.
You know where you can get vitamins?
Where?
Beef.
Beef provides 10 vitamins and nutrients.
Well played.
18 iron, 10 vitamins and nutrients. And you know how I know that? By visiting beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Beefitswhatsfordinner.com is the website. This is Foodie Friday, presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. It is, which is why we talk about it.
All right, so we going to break?
No, we got 3 minutes till break.
3 minutes till break? All right, so you want to make this po' boy now, or you want to make it on YouTube? Or you want to talk about the po' boy?
We'll make the po' boy on YouTube when we hit the break.
You got it.
But you started to say you had a story, and then you got away from the story.
I was going to tell you, the thing about the gloves, is as I went, going to the doctors with my children, I noticed even some of the healthcare professionals were not wearing gloves and what have you that many more. And I ran into a nurse that was in the hospital that when I had my appendectomy. Have I ever told you that story?
No.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Right, so, got back pain, had a kidney stone 3 years ago. I go to the hospital because I have immense pain on a Saturday night, right?
Uh-huh.
Tell my wife, drop me off, stay with the kids. Think it's just a kidney stone. I'll probably have to stay and pass it. I get there. Within 15 minutes, they had me getting an ultrasound, and they came back and said, hey, put the gown on. You're going to surgery. I'm like, all right, well, let me call. No. You got to go. It's about to rupture.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, So I dropped down on my knees, and I start praying. I'm like, Lord. I went from maybe thinking I had the kidney stone to going to surgery. So I get up there. Of course, I have nothing underneath the nightgown.
Right.
And I'm on the gurney. And then the 4 nurses walk up and with masks, they look like Victoria's Secret models.
Oh, no. And
I'm like, oh my gosh, it's kind of cold in here right now. But the point is, these ladies are going to be doing this procedure. And lo and behold,
yeah,
the one that walks up that has to put the catheter in, I know personally.
Mm-hmm. No.
Did I say it was very cold in there?
It was cold. And she's going in through the outdoor.
And so we go ahead. They knocked me out, thankfully. I didn't have to be up and anything.
Up meaning away.
Up when I prayed. Yeah, up. You get where I'm going.
Yeah.
So I hope when I prayed that I would never see any of these ladies again in my life, because it was probably not a good moment for me.
No, I would imagine not, Rock.
So, lo and behold, again, about a month later, guess who shows up at the restaurant? How you feeling? Excuse me, I gotta go to the back door. I gotta check in order. It's nice seeing you. Jumped in my truck.
I have never before seen an embarrassed Rocco. We got to take a break. Checking your money now. Checking the traffic on YouTube. Stick with us because we're about to make Philly cheesesteak.
And it is going to be fantastic.
Yes, it will.
Look, let me show you too.
What do we got? What are we doing? Oh.
So one of the things I'll talk about too, like, I mean, it's still hot. I heated it in the microwave. It's still hot.
Good. Let's Alondra.
Yeah.
Come show this off on your camera.
We hit it with a little Worcestershire sauce right before we serve it too.
Really? Okay.
A little bit, not a lot, just a little.
What is that? Like add a little bit of salty and tang?
Yeah, the salt, because we don't put any salt or pepper or anything on it when we put it on the grill. So it's going on the grill, just like flat. Like, I mean, you know, they throw it on the grill, it's chopped up, and they throw it flat on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they add the onions, they hit it with just a little salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Just a little salt and pepper, and that's it. That's really all the seasoning. But let me tell you something. You know, and I've shared this with you before. The greatest chefs will tell you, the best ones out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you serve any type of meat, you need to salt it right before you serve it. Okay? So if you cook your steak,
I actually know this.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, and there's a good reason why,
Yeah.
but I'll let you tell the story. Go ahead.
So I was just going to tell you, you know, I mean, I learned that from Chef Muggsy Beals, who I grew up with, who he dated my sister, who's the executive chef of Desi Vega's Mr. John's Steakhouse.
Okay.
So Desi Vega is from Chalmette as well. Okay. So I grew up with these guys. Yeah. Desi was a very good baseball player. And his mom and dad actually owned a Ruth's Chris franchise in Chalmette in the peak of when the economy was really good.
I was going to say, there's a Ruth's Chris in Chalmette?
There was a Ruth's Chris on Parish Road. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. So even the Chalmatians knew how to throw that.
Oh, my word.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. I could peg y'all for a crazy Johnny's.
He's the one that showed me. I went up there, and you know, sometimes I go and see him, and anyway, he's like, look, after they cook the steak, they do whatever. They'll slice it and just salt it real good, and then you taste a little piece right off the grill. And you can explain why.
The why is because of how much of the juice gets absorbed by the salt. You don't want to salt it too soon because you suck everything out of the steak when you do it that way. You put it on later, you get a touch of salt later, and you get salt flavor in the steak with all the juices.
And you should probably also do it on your chicken. Same principle.
Yep.
You know, and so, you know, you learn something new every day, but that was really a game changer. And then also, when you're cooking any type of meat, you have to rest your meat before you cook it.
Yes.
So you don't take it. A lot of people I know, they season their meat up. You know, I'm a salt and pepper, olive oil type of guy, right? And then I put it in the ice box, or the refrigerator, as people call it up here.
Yeah.
You know what the ice box is?
I know what the ice box is.
So put it in the ice box.
Alondra don't know what an ice box is.
So
why is it called an ice box?
All right. Look, this is the place of peace and harmony. We will not have any insurrection here when Rock's in the house. I'm just telling you, because we can all be fighting. Because I'm a wheeling, dealing Rolex wearing son of a gun. And it's a hard time in Haldane keeping these, look, air clouds.
How are those? I want some.
They're the
orange one,
saviors
yeah.
of the Caucasian male,
Really?
as far as style's concerned.
Okay.
That's what my children told me.
I still rep my New Balance, so
I do too.
I'm full dad New Balance.
These are Father's Day shoes from the children. And they're like, dude, you gotta.
I see more and more of them. I want them. I want them.
With the New Balance. But they're a good shoe. And I mean, they equally as price as much as like a, it's a higher end, like $100, $120 shoe. But I can jump. I could like.
You can jump?
Well, about an inch, inch and a half, and so, how much time we got left? Because I want to tell you this.
We're about to come back in.
Okay, so when we go back in, I ran across this guy who I had a constitutional law class with him, right?
Okay.
This is when I wanted to be a lawyer, when I got to LSU.
I could not imagine you as a lawyer.
Expectations of what I wanted to be. Then I thought I was going to be an actor, a thespian.
Uh-huh. I can see that.
All this stuff, right?
I can see actor above lawyer.
Anyway, I see this guy, and I hadn't seen him in 20 years plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had a class with him. So one year we had back then, if you remember, we had to go back to school Ash Wednesday. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Every Ash Wednesday we had school. The
brutal.
day after Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Right?
Brutal.
So we're seniors, and we had this professor, James Boland. He taught constitutional law.
Okay.
Older gentleman. You know what you're getting there, man.
Right.
Very rigid, very stern. He said, you have to be here that day. We did a presentation, and you have to be there. And I don't care, and we're doing it this day, and that's that, right? So if you didn't show up, it was like a third of your grade. So we're there, and the cat never shows up. He never comes to class. So the next week, he shows up like on a Monday, right? Because we had Wednesday, Friday. So Monday, he shows up, and the guy's got a brush burn from his shoulder, look, all the way down the side to his ankle, a giant brush burn, right?
All right.
And so because of this man and who he was, and he was so rigid and stern, he would not bend the rules for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But he said in front of the class, after talking to the kid was in class. We were kids at the time, both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I've made an exception. I'm going to allow him to do his presentation today. And I'm going to ask him to tell you the story why.
Yeah.
I think it might do him some good.
Yeah, yeah.
So are we going on air?
Yeah.
So we're ready. So he gets up in front of us.
Yep.
And apparently he was at Mardi Gras.
Uh-huh.
He passes out on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
All the trash and litter.
No.
He gets covered. The truck is coming to clean.
The street sweepers. Yep.
And he's laying in the street. And he gets this giant brush burn.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
There's no way you can make that up.
No.
I mean, that is no way.
And even if you could,
and
you
the
wouldn't.
damage he had, there's no way you could explain it other than that.
Unreal.
Because you know how the brush has the wires? You can see the stripe.
Oh.
I was like.
It hurts hearing it, Rock.
Like, he kind of looked like a striped bangle. He was like. But we became friends and still are friends to this day.
Yes.
I'm not going to say his name because that is a story that could sink ships. Which, by the way, when I do run for mayor and win, you're going away for a little bit.
I know.
Okay. So just so you know.
No, I know.
Prepare yourself.
I'm aware.
So we're going to have to make you go away.
Let's make a sandwich.
Too much information in your
Foodie
book.
Friday presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. We are making a Philly. We're making a Miro cheesesteak. I don't know. It's a Philly cheesesteak.
Chalmette.
Okay.
Chalmette.
You heard how offended he got from that?
Chalmette.
A Chalmette cheesesteak over here. So you're slapping the mayo on right now.
Yep.
I assume we're using the exact same po' boy bread that you would use on a regular basis.
Leidenheimer
bread.
Driven
Excellent.
up daily.
So, you are after the mayo. It's going to be
what kind of mayonnaise?
I don't know. What do you use? Blue Plate?
Oh, come on, man.
I know 70-30 on the ground beef.
It's blue plate.
Then I got it right. What do you come on, man?
That's what
Me?
I'm
I got
telling
it
you.
right.
That should be. You should just know that. That's something that you should know in your repertoire.
Well, yeah, it's blue plate. Anyway,
I'm trying to teach you. I'm learning you as we go. The salt thing. Impressive, man. This guy has been doing his homework.
I learn a little bit doing this show, doing this segment. Presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry
Right, so
Council.
you know
Beef, it's whatsfordinner.com. Check out the website. Now we go to the chopped sirloin.
So the chopped sirloin.
With onion and bell pepper.
And we put bell pepper, a little bit more of a southern flair and twist to it. And right before we serve it, because we only salt it when we put it on the grill with a little salt and pepper.
Yep. Oh,
right before we serve it, okay?
Yeah.
We kind of flash fire, hit it with a little, flash grill it with a little Worcestershire sauce.
Okay.
You know, so
adds
the
a little
cheese,
tang.
Yeah, so the cheese is actually on it when we do it, and it gets in the cheese, and boom. So then we add our provolone cheese, the standard dress. You know what that is.
Lettuce, tomato, pickle.
Yep. And we're going to do this one half with pickle, half without, so we can just try both of them, right?
All right, well, I'm going to dig into this on YouTube because we got to get to the Fox News rundown on air. Rocco's New Orleans style po' boys, New Orleans po' boys and cafe, 3358 Drusilla Lane.
Drusilla Lane.
See, I'm learning.
248-1999.
That one I don't know yet because I got your number instead.
In order to make a great New Orleans style po' boy,
you got to be from New Orleans.
Tell them about the other one. Go ahead.
Do what? Oh, on YouTube, I will. On air, here comes CBS News. All right.
Peace.
I can take my headphones off now, but you got to keep yours on because your mic's connected.
So, yeah.
You look like I got your headset so you can roam around
It's so good, man.
Isn't that great?
I mean, it's amazing what you can do when you put your mind to something. I'm very impressed.
No, I can go steal one of the remote kits. Is what I did.
So, do you want to ceremoniously do the cut yourself?
No. I leave that to the pros, man. Yeah.
Because I'll let you do it.
Yeah. I leave that to the pros.
I'm going to cut it straight down the middle.
I was watching TV the other night, and this infomercial or commercial for a sushi making kit was on, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to make sushi at home?" I'm like, "No, I want pros to do it. They know what they're doing."
Yeah, that's a difficult thing to do at home, man. I tell you what we have.
And the other one is if you put one of Rocco's po' boys on top of your head, you would beat your brains out with your tongue trying to get to it.
Very good. Look at this guy.
See?
Unbelievable.
See?
I just
3 years, and I learned something.
Believe it took no. Wait, 3 years? Did you say 3 years
of this segment?
This
segment. No, I've known you for 25.
Yeah. So how about 25 years?
Yeah.
You should have known that from day one. Shame on you.
Yeah.
You sure your name's not Theophile? Yeah.
No, I got enough shame. I got enough shame right now.
I used to call my boy Theophile.
Theophile.
Like, that's like Sean. I mean, phonetically.
I know.
I'm just confused. These names things. These guys are killing me.
They're awesome. You know what? You know what I need to do? You know what I need to do? I need to open up the group me.
Ooh.
I bet you the group me is bugged right now.
We got a little bit of mayonnaise. Let me get a little side right here. Sloppy Rocco.
All right. Alonzo stepped out for a second, so I'm going to have to do this presentation.
And then open it up if you want to. Let them see the effervescence of the inside and how beautiful.
Effervescence means bubbly.
There you go. I told you I got my own language, man. Follow the train, man. Follow the train. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here. That's a good song, man. Depeche Mode, saw them 3 times. Outstanding.
The other one I can't get enough of is How Soon Is Now by the Smiths.
Yeah, the Smiths were pretty good, man.
They're a little bit
didn't they sing "I'm the Sun" and the I remember that song.
Yeah. Here we go.
Well, let me tell you,
time to ruin the wedding in one bite.
I went to the first Lollapalooza ever in New Orleans. It was at the Lakefront Arena in the grass outside. They had a big stage. Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine. It was freaking unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that's when that music came out. You know, and look. You got the Netflix? You got the Netflix? Yeah, you got the Netflix. You got the Netflix?
I got the Netflix.
Check out that Woodstock 99. Did you see it?
Oh, that was a poop show, man. No, I haven't, but everybody's telling me I got to watch it because it was so terrible.
All I can say is bruh. But, so here was the thing, though, okay? So what happened, I won't. You just really need to watch it. But I mean, the music was just violent. Like they had Corn, Limp Bizkit. I mean, they had like all those hard, and the kids at that time were just angry.
No,
They were just angry.
over what? Like, Woodstock.
I don't know.
Woodstock was Vietnam, civil rights movement, all that other stuff.
But the music at Woodstock was different, man. It was like love and peace, and you know, I mean, Simon and Garfunkel.
Woodstock,
I mean, come on,
Woodstock
man.
'99, man. We're talking about the middle children of history.
Stop it.
They have no war. They have no Great Depression.
The Gulf War?
99?
Look,
Nah.
It was like 90 to like whatever.
It was just
like
I
3
think
weeks later.
It was a lot of the was the music that they were listening to, and there was just a lot of, you know, just rebellious nature, you know. And I mean, you know, and when the 91, 92 grunge music really started,
My favorite.
it wasn't that kind of music, and then it evolved into something else.
Oh,
man.
I know.
You know, and so that genre in particular. And that was one of the things I think that set the course. Well, I mean, they have some good. Like I listen to some bands that most people would not think I'd listen to, you know. And I mean, no, but I like, you know, I like a little Grateful Dead, and I like a little, you know, there's some bands like that, you know, that I listen to some of their music, and I mean, it was just a peaceful time, I guess, other than the Vietnam War and all the government, and you know, I mean, I meant the mindset of everybody was peace, love, and you know, and what have you. And I think that translated into the music.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't know, because we had like Black Sabbath back then too, so that was like peaceful.
But there was some violence there, man. You know, they had a big fight with the Hell's Angels and all that.
I remember.
I think the Rolling Stones were on stage when it happened.
And they were 80 then.
Yeah, them cats been around a long time. I don't know how Mick's good. I mean, that's just, he's got, you know, 27 lives. I mean,
Meanwhile, I was like in the middle of a great Fight Club quote talking about Woodstock '99. That we're the middle of children of history. Yeah, that's Fight Club, man. That's Tyler Durden right there.
Right. Yeah.
But that's it describes what the angst behind that generation, what the angst behind that concert was, versus something that was very real and tangible when the original Woodstock was there.
It really was, and I tell you, they had, you know, they just misplanned the thing from jump. I mean, but you know, when you try to put a concert on with
All right. On YouTube, let's see. Troy says, tell Rocco not to talk insurrection after telling us the story of being calf before surgery. Yes, we will make sure for sure.
Let's see what you want on it, man.
That's funny. That's all considered classic rock now. It is all considered classic rock now. All right, so I dove in on the Philly cheesesteak, and here's my initial takeaway: is when you have it dressed like a po' boy, it's going to come across like a po' boy. So it takes a minute to get to the flavors of the beef because you got the lettuce, tomato, and everything, which is why Rock was saying he just likes meat, cheese, boom, 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 be done, right? The mixture of the onions and bell pepper along with the Worcestershire pop on the beef, on the chopped sirloin, comes through very, very, very like a nice mesh together. So we talk about adding that Worcestershire sauce. You're not just adding it to the beef.
With whiz or with pickle? You tried it yet? Try both sides.
Did you have? Oh, wait.
One's got pickle on, and then also, you know, one of the things is with whiz or without whiz.
Right.
So with whiz,
we didn't do whiz though.
You know these. You don't want no cheese?
I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Get that prostate problem or something? What you doing over there? Let's see. What the heck, man? Who took it?
The doc.
Who took it?
Man.
I gave it to the kid in the neighborhood.
It's a
ran out of trick or treat candy last Halloween.
It's on my shelf in a mason jar. They took my appendix. They took my appendix, RC. They took it from. Look,
I don't know if you hearing that.
Walking around, yo.
When you go to
This is
Club Bella knows you.
I mean, if you can't go to Bella Noche, I mean, damn.
Don't drop it, bro. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. I love you. Love you. I got you, baby. I got you.
That is so awesome.
I got one more here I'm gonna make.
So
here you go. Oh, he's recording?
Whipped pickle, there's a little bit of extra saltiness to it. It adds that extra salty on top.
I just like pickles. I mean, that's just
same.
But on this sandwich, like
They're
let me tell you,
chasers too.
you know, I know
What?
Chasers.
Pickle juice?
Yes.
Yeah.
and it's good supposedly for your joints.
Really?
Yeah, pickle juice is supposed to be good for your joints.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a little stiff.
Yeah.
Drink a little pickle juice. It'll loosen up. Google it. I'm telling you. I read it on the internet.
Well, then it's got to be true.
It's true.
It's got to be true.
William Bradley? You know who William Bradley is?
No.
What about Clarence Baines III? You know who that is?
No.
Clarence Baines Young. Clarence Baines Young III.
Clarence. Oh, now I think I know.
And I knew about the
The
Mark
third,
Vincent thing.
as in Trey.
As in Trey.
Okay.
I went to Mark Vincent's. He bought some crab one night. And hung out and we talked for a little bit. So that's how I knew the story about the crawfish.
Yeah.
But I remember him saying it, I think at the crawfish bowl or when the Kimball brothers did the crawfish bowl this year. I remember them saying something about it. And I just, for whatever reason, hadn't really talked to him much more about it. But we talked about it that night. So that's how, you see, as a covert op, as a mole, you just got to always keep your eyes and ears open.
Uh-huh.
What did you just say?
Uh-huh.
Keep your eyes and ears open.
Huh?
No.
I don't know what's happening right now.
What did you say? I know what you're saying before you even say it.
What am I
I've got telekinetic powers.
On Celestial Radio and Mockery. You're this close to saying the Macarena is the sincerest form. The Macarena is the sincerest form of flattery.
Do you know what it is to be me, man?
No, I don't.
It's very difficult.
I don't.
But you know what?
Because I've never had.
The train's always going.
I've never served a po' boy to a woman who ran a catheter up me.
No, I didn't. Now, let me go ahead and clarify that. Point of clarification, sire. What happened was, as the kids say it.
What happened
is that when she walked in the door and I saw her, I was behind the bar.
Uh-huh.
So she walked in the far door, right?
And you did one of these?
And then I saw her, and I just kind of casually walked out the bar and waved as I turned the corner and went straight out the back door. So I didn't actually, but I did by proxy, serve her one of my po' boys.
It's just not an instance where I would be anything other than purple in the face.
I served her maybe a little bit more than a po' boy. So humiliated, man.
Oh, man.
Do you know how much confession and praying I had to go to try and get over there? It just weighed me down so bad. But truthfully, man, I have to tell you, I got there that night. I was out the next evening.
Yeah.
And the only thing they said to do is don't lift anything for 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So what did I do? 3 weeks later, I go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
First guy casts a pole. What do you think I do? I hook onto like a 42-inch redfish, and I gave it to my buddy. I said, dude, because if you strain, you can get a hernia.
Yeah. And
that was the main thing that the surgeon was worried about. Don't do anything there. You get a strain, you get a hernia, and then you'll have big problems. And but I was fine. And then I was, I've got a little spot over my belly button that's almost gone, and I got a little bitty scar about all about this and this.
Yeah.
It's about this.
Okay.
Okay. In time measurements.
Because that could have gone, for those that don't understand on YouTube, that could have gone very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could have.
Yeah.
And so thankfully, man, but it also put me in a better mindset, and I started thinking a little bit more about being healthy and taking care of myself. And as you know, we have the walking warriors in the morning. A lot of us, like, it's Trey, Chip, Wolf, Brad Bourgeois, Travis, Mike Clay. There's a bunch of us, and we kind of alternate Haysburg and go to each person's different house. See, but I thought they were doing it just because they wanted me to hang out and fellowship with them, but I think they were worried that I was going to drop dead of a heart attack, and they were trying to get me in shape.
Either way, there's love there.
It is. It is. And so I went, there is love. And we walk, and man, I am just telling you, man, I
Where
look,
do y'all walk?
I just look, we got a map.
Wherever they damn well please.
We got a map
I'm
out.
doing these
Now, let me
little
just tell you. Let me tell you about this, Alejandro. Let me tell you. All right. So picture this. Most of the time, it's about at least 5 to 6 of us that walk.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk in Tara. We walk on Old Goodwood by, Wolf's house. We'll walk by Brad Bourgeois' house. And we have a little section mapped out because all these guys are techno guys. That Wolf is Wolf Waushauser. He's a contractor. Anyway.
Probably not the best to say that last name with a Jewish accent or the German accent.
That's how I say it, man. That's how you're supposed to say it. Phonetically, that's correct.
If there was anything further from there is nothing further from the Third Reich, though, is what I'm saying.
Oh no! Look, yeah, man. I'm no anti-Semite or anything, but the truth of the matter is, man, it really has kind of changed. That little incident that I went through changed how I looked at my health, man. And I said, man, I got to start taking better care of myself. And I know. Look at it one more time, Alejandro.
I don't know this music. I know there's music behind it.
It's from the movie Groundhog Day. Okay, when Chris Elliott goes to get
not our Chris Elliott,
but there's a guy. Chris Elliott's in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from Get a Life.
They auction off Bill Murray, right? Yeah. And the girl, the Andy McDowell, the girl interest in the movie, and so she buys him for like $350, and then they put up Chris Elliott. I don't know his name in the movie, but he gets up there.
He's their photographer.
Yeah, and when he jumps up on the stage, he goes like he does like this, and he goes, and the music's going, and he's doing that to the music. And then there's some old lady in the back goes, "I got 2 bits." She lifts up a quarter.
Yeah.
So
I remember that now.
But anyway, that's where I got that from. But it is what it is. But the po' boy is probably a sleeper on the menu.
Very much so.
Because it's got a lot to challenge. Okay?
It does.
I mean, you're going head to head with the roast beef,
right? The Crescent City Connection.
Okay, and then you've got freaking the Big Easy Club. You got a lot of You got a lot of meats. Like Arby's, I like their logo. We got the meat. We got the meat.
You got the meats.
I got the meats.
Yeah.
And prices are constantly fluctuating. One thing we want to tell our customers and our customer base is that we have been adjusting our prices accordingly.
Yeah.
We have made multiple changes in the menu, and we're going to try to do the best we can to keep the prices to where it's fair, okay? Yeah. But you're going to get your money's worth. But I will tell you this, if it continues to increase, because they always say, inflation's at 7, 8%. It's well above 15. I don't care what the government's telling. We're in a recession. I don't care what they're saying.
No, the numbers we get are based off of a very specific time period. If you back that time period up, you have to increase that inflation even more. But that's neither here nor there.
But that directly impacts everything. The gas prices, cost more to get the food. You got to pay more for gas for people to make the transportation available to go pick up food and suppliers and bring it to people. Yes. And so it affects everything in the restaurant industry and in your home, and so when it does eventually, and I think at some time, I think prices will balance off, then we'll reduce our prices. I mean, we have a certain margin that we have to make. Believe it or not, we're in the business to make money.
What?
Did I ever tell
you got in the business so you can make money?
Keep that between us. That stays in this room. We're on.
It's a profit deal.
Yeah, and so I don't actually pay what I sell you, the po' boy.
No.
For.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different. I mean,
you tell me I'm not getting all this at cost?
That's correct. Correct.
Unreal.
So just keep that. That's business 101. See, remember the school part?
Yeah.
I was telling you about earlier?
Yeah. After your acting class?
I didn't.
But before pre-law?
I told you I took voice classes. Y'all won't even let me audition for the music ministry.
I told you you could hop up there whenever you want to, man.
I could sing. I could sing. You want me to sing Pavarotti for you? I could sing some Luca Pavarotti for you. You want me to do it?
Luca? Luciano is now Luca?
I'm going to make you say it was right. You want to dress? You want to split? You want me to split this one?
Sure.
Austin,
you know what? If I can like cut my bites off of the.
Well, I can make a hole and a half. Should be plenty. I got plenty of meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody. Yeah. What you want on it?
Meat and lettuce.
Meat and lettuce.
Can't have dairy.
You lactose intolerant too? We were just talking about it.
We were just talking about being lactose
I'm
intolerant.
I'm
And how it
lactose
should just
intolerant.
pop up on you one day.
You can't even have that lactose milk.
Kid Craddock.
It was not a good. I got the sweats. I felt like someone was punching me in the stomach.
The meat sweats?
No.
I had the meat sweats.
I had the supreme pizza at the station
Ooh.
that day, and then everything just. That's when the lactose stuff came back. Not good.
You deleted all these messages?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay, good. Well, got one more here.
But that never has happened before.
All right. No, it happens often.
I've never seen it happen.
What up, Cade?
I did wash my hands, just so you know, before I just didn't bring any rubber gloves.
All right, so finishing up on actual breaking down of the sandwich, that thin cut sirloin, Rock, that thin cut sirloin makes a hell of a lot of the difference because you're going to soak up every ounce of flavor from the onion and the bell pepper because it's not it's not thick.
Yeah,
it's there to absorb.
And it is a little bit thinner because we shave it down a little bit more, you know, because it's like a little chuck piece, you know, just like a little piece like this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got pre-sliced on it, and then we take and we slice that, and then when they throw it on the grill, it's like Benihana's. They hit it with the spatulas, crack it all up, and I'm telling you, man, it's really good. But again, like we were saying,
sleeper.
I still told you you have to come by when next week we'll do our Thursday lunch at the Sicilian table.
Mm-hmm.
You can come break bread with me.
I'd like to.
Okay.
I would like to.
You're always welcome at my table.
The Sicilian table.
That's right, the Sicilian table in the corner.
I'm the furthest from Sicilian, but I'll
One
be
of
there.
these days, you'll be able to do a favor for me. Okay? Until that day, I will call upon you. And when I do, you'll be there. I know. So, anyway. But yeah, I'm going to make that sandwich I told you about on the muffalata, the roast beef.
Yeah.
With our fantastic roast beef. Tell them about our roast. It's remember?
It's a shoulder.
It's a shoulder roast,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so it's got a little bit more fat, little bit, not a lot, but I mean, it's, you have different cuts. You got the, filet on the top, and then you get the loin. But the thing we like about it the most is when you trim that fat off after it cooks, it's already seasoned your meat.
Yes.
Right? It's like a ribeye. My favorite steak. I don't know about you. I think we talked about it one time.
We did. It depends on the mood.
I'm ribeye all the way.
That's
cowboy cut, even better.
Okay, no, cowboy cut's a game changer though because cowboy cut.
You gotta have the fat.
There's
in the meat.
something
You gotta have the marbling, man.
Yeah, it's so when
So
you
people
go.
don't understand.
There's something primal about going with that giant bone in. Like it's different.
Tomahawk.
The tomahawk, yeah.
Literally, you could. I bet you really could maim somebody with that tomahawk steak. I believe you really could.
Absolutely,
if
you could.
really pick that thing
If
up
you can't, what's the
and
point?
clock the person next to you upside the head with it.
Right.
They might not be getting up.
I'm enjoying dinner, and I also have a weapon.
Hating violence, but I mean, that sucker's like a. It's like a. Have you ever seen one, Alejandro? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, golly. I mean, it's like the John Candy 69 ouncer.
The old 96er. The old 96er.
I could eat it.
What, the old
I
96er?
could do it.
You know,
Absolutely.
Tell myself that.
I could do it.
Tell myself that.
I'll gorge if I need to.
I don't know.
I'll just
eat a 96-ounce steak.
Hey, Joey Casanova ate
chestnut.
He ate 44 chicken fingers.
Right. 44 Cane's chicken fingers.
45.
You think? Man, you say that, but here's the thing.
No way.
Here's the thing.
No,
so we had small sliders up here last week.
Do it. No.
We had small sliders up here last week. Franz Borghardt, he swore up and down. He was talking trash, saying I could eat 20 of those things. I was like, bro, it's on. Let's do this. Made a little wager, raised a little money for, I want to say it was for Real Men Wear Pink, was when we're doing this. He went to slam
we've been so busy.
20 small sliders. He got to 17, and he disappeared to the other room for a little while.
Yeah.
And then he came back, and he's like, I'm never again. 20 sliders. I like to think I could slam a 96-ounce steak, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I could do a dozen Castle burgers.
Oh, man. Why don't they have Castle Burgers up here?
I could do a dozen. You know the little small ones, not like
no, the Tasty Donuts.
That's
ones.
right.
Great.
Those, dude, with the grilled onions and the ketchup and the mustard on them.
Yes.
Ooh, you ever had those?
What?
Castle Burgers.
Look,
Wait, what?
we're gonna go down
Castle
to Parish.
Burgers.
We're gonna take you. We're gonna go down to Parish. I'm gonna go show you the Parish.
Okay.
Bring you to Rocky and Carlos. We're gonna go get you some of those. So the donut places make the best ones. It's just like a little mini Castle Burger, right? But
Right.
they're not.
Like
most
before
of the
there
time
were
they're-
sliders, there were Castle
right.
Burgers.
They're about half the size of a slider.
Right.
And I mean, they stack them in a donut box 6 on 6, right?
And they get these individual sleeves.
know,
They put them in a sleeve, and they put the 12 sleeves in the box. Oh,
Like if you're riding, look, I used to be coming home from the French Quarter, riding in my Mustang GT. Look, my head top, but my head. Dun, dun,
the
dun,
rag
dun, dun,
down to your hair. Can
dun, dun.
you were going Ice Ice Baby, and I was
I had
right
an
there with
earring
you.
in my ear, you know. Like, thinking, what cheese? Cheese ball. What a perfect name for that.
Oh man! So
Unbelievable.
yeah, Tasty's Donuts would have them, and on the North Shore they had Buttercrisp.
Yeah.
Which whoa.
Well, look, even better. My Mustang was a 5-speed, right? So I could drive it, shift, and eat the burgers as I was driving it.
That's a level of coordination.
Just telling you, man.
I mean,
I might even had a couple of, Skylabs from Pat O'Brien's in me. Who knows, man? You ever had one of those?
No.
Me.
No.
Go to Pat O'Brien's. Everybody likes the Hurricanes, and it's the
staple.
It's the drink. I
I've
get it.
ruined my liver on her.
But you got to be the guy to go outside the box.
What if you get a purple people eater?
People always want to live inside the box. You get them outside. That's how you have to live. Outside the box, right? Yeah. So they got a drink. It's called the Skylab.
I never got the Skylab.
It's kind of like a rum, and I think they got a vodka mix to it or something. But I'm telling you, it's really good. But more importantly, it's pretty strong, right? So you don't have to buy. You can drink 26 Hurricanes, man.
No, you can't. No. All right. When the Zephyrs first started.
Let's go. Y'all want to go?
When the Zephyrs first started.
Let's go. What time we getting off? Let's go. Come on.
Bro.
We're getting in the car. Let's go.
All right, let me hit my weigh in.
Good. We're going. You skipping the weigh in. Let's go.
Weigh in before.
We're going.
We're turning it up.
Let's go.
So when the Zephyrs first started, before they hit the Shrine on Airline, they played out at Privateer Park.
Right.
Meadows had a stand. And I don't want to get into the whole story, but the girl working the stand kind of had a thing for a friend of mine.
Right.
So we were overserved on more than one occasion. There was a night where I had a hurricane an inning. A hurricane an inning.
I mean, did you feel anything?
The next day, I felt it all.
Well, because, the
inning.
thing about that, too, is because it's got a lot of sugar, The sugary drinks are the ones that's going to give you
I'm just
bad
saying, I
hangovers,
rode, I
Stay
rode home.
Stay with the clear liquor.
Rode
Clear
home
liquors, the
on the
vodkas,
causeway
tequilas,
in the
stuff.
back of his truck.
Yeah, that.
Like a baby in the back of his truck all across the causeway.
I've been in that spot before.
It's not a good place.
I've been in the back of a truck.
It's not a good place.
I've been hosed down in a car wash in the back of a truck.
Funny you should mention that because his dad owns a car wash.
It happens.
Yeah, same guy.
But I didn't get brush burn.
No brush
I'll
burn.
tell you, I had some my skin from that.
The pressure wash will do damage, bro.
It will.
They wasn't trying to hurt me, really. They were literally, my boys were just trying to help me. Trust me.
No,
They were like, what the, and so you have to be careful, man. Everybody, you live and you learn your life, and you just have to be cautious, man. You got to pay attention. And, us, having children that age, and you kind of sympathize, you understand what they're going through, but at the same time, the bottom line is, and the conflict I have with some of my kids sometimes is they don't understand that I'm not their friend, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm their father, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a greater obligation, number one, to get them to heaven. That's my first thing. And number two, I'm going to teach them how to live correctly because that's my job as their parent, right? And so if they would just understand that, it would make things a lot easier. But I've got plenty of friends, I mean, I've got you. I've got all my other friends. I mean, sometimes you don't, when you're at that age, you go back and you say, man, I was kind of the same way too. So you try to draw that fine line. But
Well,
I was
but
fortunate enough.
We're in a spot right now where, like, I don't want to get this heavy of a topic at 9:30 on a Friday.
No,
We're long since done. We're on YouTube, but like,
no, this ain't a
here's the
bad.
thing,
I mean,
though.
it's just
It's
people
got to
need to hear
There's
this.
an
This is
ebb and
important.
flow of the friendship versus the parent there, because you are their best friend up until a point, and then you got to shift roles to say, I made the mistake so you don't have to. And then it goes back into it once they're fully in their adult years and whatnot. It's that navigating those without losing trust.
I was lucky enough to be able to raise my brother's daughter for 2.5 years after Katrina.
Mhm.
Okay, my godchild came to live with Jill and I,
Mhm.
and we only had Roman was the only child born at the time. He was only like 4 months, 5 months. Okay,
Yeah.
so we had just had him. He was a newbie, and then I pick up this 12-year-old girl to come live with me for I don't know how long. Right. Her mother called me. My brother was having some issues, some personal issues, and they had nowhere to go. I mean, every place they tried to go, they wound up going to her father's camp. And she goes, I financially, I can't get her. And she's got 2 friends that were in Baton Rouge, right, that she went to school with in Chalmette, at Chalmette High. And so I said, I'll take her. I said, because I mean, she was born when I was, 17, 18 years old. So she was always at my house because my brother and his wife lived in my parents' house. We had a little apartment in the back that they lived in. And so because of that, I was always around her. So she was more like not just a niece. I mean, I had a very close connection with her.
Right.
So it made it a lot easier for the transition. But I remember telling her, when I stopped to get her, I'm like, look, the way you lived is different from the way you're going to be living with me. And if you're going to get in this truck, you have to be prepared to accept some changes.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do that, don't get in my truck.
Right.
So I said, once you get in, I
That's
don't
when the
know.
roles
That's
switch.
right.
Yeah.
And everything changes, And so
It's no longer the fun uncle.
she was like, because she would come and spend 2 weeks of summer, her and her little brother, with Jill and I, right? Yeah. And we would take them to Blue Bayou and different parts. We
Fun uncle. I know.
We do stuff every day. She's like, I need some. She said, I need structure. That was her words. The kid was 12.
You can oblige.
And so I was like, get in. And so we went through the transition with her, and she became a really good student because Jill's an educator, and she went from making C's and D's to A's and B's. We put her in Runnels, the Runnels School, and she was there for several years. And then right before she was to graduate, they opened up the high school in Chalmette again. So she was like, can I go graduate in the spring and transfer, to finish down there? And I'm like, yeah, and so, she never understood some of the times when we would have some confrontations. And I tell you when it all made sense to me, that I think we had a pretty good idea of the way we needed to raise our kids, right? Because she told me, she's a nurse now. She lives in San Diego.
Okay.
She's got a BSN, and she's got 1 child just born, and she's married, and her husband was also a nurse. And and she told me, she said, at her wedding, she goes, I just want to thank you. I didn't understand. She said, but I couldn't have done it without you doing you and Aunt Jill doing what you did. She goes, you have no idea how eternally grateful I am for what y'all did. And I mean, it wasn't just us, her mother did a good job with her, and her grandparents are on her side of the family, were very instrumental in steering her down the right path too. But I mean, that's when you like take a deep breath and you're like, okay, so maybe I've got some structure in my life for how to do this when Roman starts to get older.
Right. You got a little test run.
Right. And as you know, it's a little bit more difficult dealing. You'll go through it with Jimbo when he gets older, the boys.
I'm not ready.
Well, they get,
we're gonna.
We were there. You know what I'm saying?
No,
we
I already
there,
know.
And they're very combative sometimes.
And you know how combative I am.
But in the end, I think they love us. They just trying to, they have a lot of hormonal and emotional changes that they're going through, and a lot of it is, unsure, I think, and being a little bit insecure about what happens after high school, because that's all structured, right?
Yep.
Now you're going to college.
Mm-hmm.
But my son did tell me, he's like, look, I want to leave Baton Rouge. You know, he goes, I don't want to go to school at LSU.
Right.
I said, well, I mean, you can get tops and stuff. 'Cause that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking money.
Top
right?
supplies in Natchitoches and Ruston.
So I'm like, he's like, yeah, he goes, think about it, Papa. He goes, you know, when you grew up in Chalmette, did you want to go to UNO? He goes, I said, no, I didn't. So I got it.
I know? To this day, I don't understand.
Right.
That, like, it's, I don't know if it's a Baton Rouge thing or what, but when LSU fans get mad at local athletes who go somewhere else, I'm like, going away to college
is
going away to college. It has nothing to do with anything else other than I've been under the same roof for 18 years, been with the same people for 18 years. I need to stretch my legs. I need to grow myself.
Go find yourself.
I will never understand it.
How you want me to dress this other half?
However you want. I'm sorry. However Alondra wants.
What you want on it?
Everything.
Awesome.
Greatest way to start a weekend.
See,
right there.
I went down about the onion and the
Thank
bell
you, brother.
pepper. It's, awesome is the word.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome's the perfect word. It was.
You know why?
Why?
Because I'm a wheeling dealing, jet flying,
On cloud wearing.
on cloud wearing, ram truck driving.
Get a
I'm
word.
having a hard time keeping these dry clouds on this floor. I don't even know what they can.
It's on cloud.
Scott Rocco, we love you, brother.
They have some new ones called the Cloud Monster.
Uh-huh.
I want to try those.
They really, I mean, I'm not kidding y'all. I'm clowning the name, but they're very comfortable shoe.
That's what I hear.
And one of the things too, the New Balance, I don't know if you realize this, but and I know this because I buy them. No, seriously, this is serious. Some people's feet roll out. My foot rolls out when I walk. So the heel on the outside, right?
Hey, Gordy.
Oh!
And we're still.
Whatever did I earn this disrespect here? I mean, I've been looking for you for 6 months. Where you been, man?
I can't.
You go to Central?
You want to hop in?
You go to Central
we're on
and we're on the YouTube, man. Look, you got my check for being here. I mean, just cash, something, just like a caveman walks up
Philly
here
cheesesteak. With his cheesesteak.
and majority of the glorious self. Ask your mother. Tell her I asked about her. Something's wrong with him. I'm convinced of it.
All right, so this shoe review has been presented by the Louisiana Peak Finishing Council.
The Jesuits. That's why. You know how the Jesuits are. For the greater glory of God.
On Cloud sneakers are food for you with vitamins and
Ad
nutrients.
majorem glorum. Hail to the cross, brother.
Rock, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah, it is. It's Friday. Hopefully it won't rain on me today.
I mean,
Stop doing the freaking rain dances.
I'm not doing Wait, between you and me in this segment, which one of us is
I want
dancing?
you to start calling me Dances with Wolves. That's
Dances
going to be
with
my
Wolves.
that's
All
my
right.
Indian nickname.
Okay.
You know how to say
that
it?
would make me the wolf?
I'm going to tell you how. No, I'm Dances with Wolves.
Your dances with
I
wolves.
dances with
I'm
wolves.
just wolf.
Like Kevin Costa.
Yeah.
Shimante, Ichate, Obawe. That's how you say Dances with Wolves. I've seen that
Say it again,
movie so many
Shimante
times.
what?
Ita Obawe.
Ita Obawe, which means protein, iron, 10 vitamins and nutrients that you'll find.
Man, you go
beefiswhatsfordinner.com. Beefiswhatsfordinner.com.
Oh, you're getting good.
Friday, and God knows
I'm never
what else.
coming back. This is the pinnacle. I've reached my pinnacle.
We'll see you in a month.
I love you.
And we'll see you over on Drusilla later on. Bye.
Have a good day.